Hello and welcome to the Video Game Dads podcast, where three guys in a basement talk gaming, fatherhood, and everything in between. This is episode 41.
41.
Yeah, 9 away from our number 50 spectacular.
Yeah.
So anyway, we are a tri-weekly. We try to have this amateur, family-friendly podcast come out every 3 weeks or so. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/videogamedads. You can tweet at us at videogamedads and then email us. Where can you email us, Adam?
Videogamedads@yahoo.com.
Yeah. So anyway, family friendly, I just mentioned, that just kind of means no promises on not any adult content, no innuendo, but we will not be swearing.
Unless it's really necessary.
And needed. And then we are going to swear. We're going to swear up a storm. We're going to swear so hard. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Let's see. There's just two of us here. I just already lied.
Just two of us here celebrating Pi Day.
Yeah, I'm here with Mr. Adam.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and I'm Benjamin, or Ben, whatever you want to call me. Benji, Benny. It's all good. Yeah, you said it's Pi Day.
It is Pi Day.
3.14.
Yeah, repeating but not repeating, or it's infinite but not repeating.
Yeah,
That's
3.1467. Someone I used to know in high school used to know that to like the 27th power.
That's a useful life skill.
Yeah, it is. You never know, like trivia night, something like that. I didn't eat any pie today. Did you? You
didn't? No, actually, I didn't think about it until just now.
Yeah, someone brought it up earlier. They didn't have pie at work. They had cake. I didn't go for that because I don't need cake. Just trust me.
Every day's
people.
Cake Day.
I know.
Only one day is
so
Pie
hard.
Day.
I know.
All right, Benjamin. So the whole world wants to know, what's your favorite kind of pie?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. So lean back.
Lean back, light up a cigarette.
I think you got a fruit pie, and then you got. I'm not gonna say savory. Get that crap out of here. People who eat chicken pot pie. Good for you, but
that does not qualify as a pie.
No, it weirds me out.
No, it's not bad. It's just not a pie.
No, I get it.
It's a. I'm not sure what it is. It's like a soup.
Yeah,
it's like a bread and a soup.
Let's just say it was invented over in the land of like Europe, so they're crazy over there. I just feel like, hey, you want to see this thing from the outside? It looks like a nice, tasty dessert, and the inside it's like freaking dinner.
It seems like an April Fool's joke.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I was like something with kids. I think that was it. And when I saw it as a kid, I'm like, no, this looks like a monstrosity. I'm not touching it. But I have, like, on occasion, in a pinch, had to have some like a chicken pot pie. And
yeah, I'm not too bad to eat a chicken pot pie.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
I've had one or two in my life. It wasn't terrible. I still don't like the idea of it. And I'm sticking to it. This is a Video Game Dad's viewpoint.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's talk about the good. Okay, so I'm a big fan of a cherry apple. Have you ever had a cherry apple?
That's an interesting combo.
Yeah, and it works really well. I met one other person recently that has like a cherry apple pie. My sister makes one like around the holidays, and it's really freaking good. You wouldn't think have like apple and cherry together and not making it super thick. It's randomly really good. But I love a good cherry pie.
Okay, so that's the fruit pie. What's your favorite other pie?
So there's this kind of, it's pretty decadent. It's called French silk.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, so it's like chocolate and it's like whipped and moussey. Used to be a pie place around here called Tippins.
Yes, I remember Tippins. I remember eating salad at Tippins, and they had these croutons that were like an inch. Yeah. An inch in diameter each way.
Yeah, enough to just wreck the inside of your mouth.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, hey, Captain Crunch, get a load. Hold my beer, Captain Crunch.
When you're like 10 years old, you get the salad and you just like extra croutons, and then you just eat the croutons.
Yeah, I would remember being a kid and being like, okay, a crouton. It's I'm living outside the box. Is this eating salad when you just eat a bunch of croutons? Yeah, so French silk's really good. A pecan pie, that's pretty good.
Pecan or pecan, depending.
Yeah, depending on what part of the country you're from. Wherever it's right, it's pecan. No,
it's always offensive if you use the wrong one.
I know. Yeah. And some people just need to eat pie and just get over themselves. So let's see. Let's keep talking about pie. I'm not a big banana pie person, or Boston cream.
I don't like any kind of pie with meringue.
Oh, really?
Like whatever that stuff is.
Yeah, it's whipped egg whites and sugar.
It's an abomination.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gross.
That's all right. I like meringue, and I'm okay with you not liking meringue because it just means more for me. key lime. Big fan of key lime.
Yeah, key
with
lime's
the,
alright, yeah.
graham cracker crust. Key lime's pretty good, especially if it's real. It gets you in the corner of the mouth. No one I watch people say you made me pull over and try to find pie. Pie's terrible. Don't eat it. But anyway, what's your favorite pie?
You know, I'm not sure. Really, anything with like chocolate peanut butter in it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
anything that has
Yeah.
like Reese's mixed into it, or
Yeah.
like peanut butter filling with like chocolate topping or whatever. Any combination thereof. That's probably my favorite. I don't know that
Burger King randomly made those like pies that come pre-sliced in the little thing.
I remember that. Yeah,
I think they still make them, and you just go in there and pay like $1.25, and you get like a slice of a really good little pie thing.
yeah, but that's probably my favorite. Which
Yeah.
incidentally is probably the worst thing you can possibly eat.
Oh,
as far
yeah.
as for you.
Oh yeah. There's not much. Well, no, it's good for you. There's not much health benefits to eating pie. But I'll never turn down a pie. I'll do pie over like cake, but cake is more like ready and more plentiful. Or like you go into an office and the cake's there. Pie, like you don't want a pie sitting out as long as the cake.
Oh no! When you have a pie, you want to kill that sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can. It feels, the whole pizza, something about the cylindricalness of it. Like, oh, I'm eating a percentage of it, right? You
Exactly.
Can
You
figure it
can do
out.
your fractions.
Yeah, a pie chart,
You can learn
and
about
now all of a
math
sudden, I'm hungry.
as you eat. Yes.
Yeah, I really like it.
Or you can make Pac-Man.
Yeah, you can make Pac-Man, or you can always like when you're the one slicing the pie, you can always make it in favor for you. When you're like, I love it when I just did this, right? So it was my birthday, or I'm leaving my not leaving my job. I'm leaving my job. I have a new job, and then I had some people, and they're saying their fun goodbyes, and they're giving me interesting things like succulents. I didn't even know what a succulent.
You mean like a plant?
Yes, it's a plant.
Like aloe vera?
Yes, like that. It's like a desert plant.
A cactus, I think, is a succulent.
Yeah, it's a succulent as well. But anyway, it's something that you give a man like me, I think. So some of the ladies at the thing, they came up and
Nothing says super manly like a succulent.
It was really nice, and they gave me a little pie, and then I was cutting it for other people, and it was a cool pie. It was like cake on the top half, and the bottom half was like a cheesecake. It was really cool. The outside was chocolate. You didn't know what you get. And I was cutting it for some of my other coworkers, and I was just cutting, it. And they were all like, they're like, Benjamin, these pieces are way too big. It was kind of like, I'm like, what is the problem here? Just eat less of it or something. But evidently I cut my slices really big of my pie. But
yeah, there are larger character flaws to have.
Yeah, are you a corner cake piece kind of guy?
No,
or?
I hate the corners.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big cake icing guy. I like the center pieces that are just cake on the sides.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I could see that. I was always a corner when I was growing up, but now as I'm maturing, I'm more just a side. Just, a little in the middle. A little in the middle, but you got much middle back. All right. So we are a video game podcast.
Yeah, we are a video game podcast.
Believe it or not.
Yeah,
hurry, quick. Let's talk about some, like, what's some food eating ones? Food Fighters.
Burger Time.
Double Time, Burger Time.
Yeah, Burger Time.
What's that one that's on the Nintendo, Mr. Nintendo Man?
Yoshi's Cookie?
No, the expensive one. Panic Restaurant.
Oh, Panic Restaurant.
Bam.
Yeah.
That's actually a randomly kind of good game.
It's not bad.
It would be considered a hidden gem if we didn't hate our listeners or something. If we hated our listeners, we would pick that. Like, go out there and buy.
Everybody go get a copy of Panic Restaurant.
Yeah,
and play
it's
it.
1,200. I don't know. You'd know more than
It's I think it's like $800 now, 8 or 9. Something
me. 8 or
like
9.
that.
Is that lower? Or that's
Well, I may be exaggerating. Maybe it's 6 to 8, 6 to 9, somewhere in there, depending on it.
Yeah, chump change.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what are we going to? We're going to talk about a few things. Let's see. Of course, our patented video game book club. Also, our Handheld Holla. And emails, reviews. We're actually going to get to them this time. Sorry, people. And then talking about the future. Let's talk PS5. Let's talk beyond that. Let's talk maybe what we're thinking 5 years from now, what it looks like, what our lives look like, what our waistlines look like eating all that pie. Talk about a few of those things. And then also some ideas from some of our email listeners. We talked about open world games last time and got an email about that, which was nice. And then what else am I doing? What we're playing, what we're doing, and then maybe a possibility for later in the year doing some streaming for some charity.
Oh, charity
where you
streaming.
can see our mugs, and we're going to do like 24 hours of game playing.
That's right. These faces were not built for radio.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So generally, it's two of us. We kind of got to do a dialogue back and forth. We'll change up the way we do things as far as the categories and stuff to keep things moving. But anyway, let's get going. Let's get moving. Let's get started on our video game book club.
I called the witch doctor, he told me what to do. He said, ooh, ooh, Ting tang, walla walla bing bang.
That means play Dr. Mario on Game Boy or NES.
Ting tang, walla walla bing bang. I beat the witch doctor, and this is what he said. He said, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah. Ting tang, walla walla bing bang. Ooh, ee, ah, ah. And then he struck my head.
All right, thanks. Ting Tang Walla Walla Bing Bang. That's a good old one. I remember that one.
Yeah,
huh?
no, I love that commercial. Little shrunken head guy singing it.
Yeah. Dr. Mario for the old Game Boy. God, old Game Boy. What a brick. What
I've
an
actually been
awesome
playing
thing.
Dr. Mario a lot lately.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the Switch Online store.
Yeah,
So
okay.
me and my 5-year-old have been playing it. He's not great at it
Oh,
yet.
yeah.
But he's getting better.
That's good. I didn't actually play it till the first time, the first Mo Game Con, right? We've had 3. So 3-4 years ago was the first time I played it.
Really?
Yeah,
I wore it out back in the day.
After Tetris, I something about it, like if you play it for a couple minutes, and I didn't have, it's definitely a good thing to play with somebody, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so if I play it by myself, I just somehow didn't get into it. I don't know why. But I get it now, but I also get that it's really easy to be just okay at it, and then it's really cool to watch someone really
Who's
awesome
really good at it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But who knows? That'd be a fun game to stream or something like that. Anyway, our video game book club. It's a segment where each episode we pick a game that may be overlooked, misunderstood, most likely not be in the top 15% of whatever system library we play, and then we'll play it in between episodes and then discuss it on the next episode. We encourage our listeners to submit suggestions for the video game book club for us to discuss. If you don't have to stick to whatever console we're currently on. It can be a handheld or whatever. Just include a little spiel about it, and we'll put it in our pool and randomly roll it around in our bingo ball cage and pick it. So the last 3 episodes, because we were kind of off a little bit, the holidays kind of nuked us. That we last 3 episodes always had both picks be the listener pick, and now we are back. So we had 2 listener picks last time. Crash Team Racing and Vice Project Doom. And then this next episode, we will go back to doing a dad pick and a listener pick. And of course, check out our YouTube so you can see the pick early. So you get like, it's like DLC day 1.
It is, DLC, free DLC.
Yeah, free DLC where you get early access edition.
Early access DLC.
Oh, God.
This is, yes,
Just threw
you
up in
get
my
the
mouth.
beta.
God, early access. Yeah, pay extra for. That's what's happening with the new Division 2. Did you hear about this?
I actually played the Division 1 some.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Okay.
But,
Division 2 is basically the extra version, the like $80-$90 version. Only comes with like nothing that you wouldn't get anyway for free as far as extra content. And the only thing really outside of like some kind of bogusness is just early access, like by however many days, half a week, 4 days. That's it.
I will not be buying 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Thought
not
the first one was pretty disappointing, actually.
really. See, it's just that's not my type of game. It would be if, like, let's say there was like 5 or 10 of us, and we were all around the country, and we got to play together, and we didn't have this podcast, and we like set up this time to do the podcast instead, or something, or play video games instead. But yeah, I saw enough streams. Actually, this is kind of, you'll find this really interesting. Giant Bomb recently talked about this. So how out of touch this kind of is. You know how Ubisoft is really good at like putting games inside of their games. I think it's Ubisoft.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like this is a post-apocalyptic place. It doesn't have like, it's like kind of the Division is set in a time where there's not really like connected electricity. And in one of the bunkers, there's a kid playing For Honor, which is an online-only game inside the game. And I thought that was really funny for Giant Bomb to point out that it's like, yeah, okay, sure. How's this kid playing For Honor? But anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. So reversing back 20 degrees to wherever the heck we were. How do we even talk about the Division?
I don't know. Back. I think we're supposed to be talking about Vice Project Doom.
Yes, yeah. So anyway, this video game book club, both of these were submitted. I really like this. It's been nice and refreshing to have our listener picks kind of going through some of these.
Oh, yeah. And I like the name Vice Project Doom.
Yeah. It's really...
It's super 90s.
It's super 90s, yeah.
It's awesome.
Uh-huh.
If there was a movie star in the game, it would probably be Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm almost certain of it.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking the Miami Vice guy just because the Vice.
Yeah, or I mean, it could be that guy too. But this guy's a little less slick. He's a little
Lorenzo Lamas. How about that?
Yeah, that would work. Potentially. But yeah, it's a 90s action movie as a game,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. And so we had not Strike. What am I thinking of? The last
Shatterhand.
Shatterhand.
Yeah.
So Shatterhand was also a late release.
It is.
That was actiony and really good. And this is another.
Yeah, this is kind of like the twin brother or first cousin or something of that. So if you like one, you'll probably like the other sort of thing. But this is a game that was released in '91 in both Japan and North America. Developed by AICOM, I guess how you say this, AICOM.
Yeah.
And published by Sammy. And Sammy did like a lot of arcade games and stuff.
Sammy's Sega, basically, right?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure because they make pachinkos, and I think like Sammy is Sega in a Sega division, or they kind of it's like not Hyundai and Honda, but like Honda and Acura type deal.
Maybe, yeah. I know that they do like Viewpoint on Neo Geo, and there's a few other games on the NES that are Sammy games, but it's a real interesting game because it tries to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of like pick a genre.
Yeah, sort of. So when you start the game out, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be like a side-scrolling action platform, beat 'em up kind of thing. In the very first level, it's Spy Hunter.
Yeah, it is.
Like it's an overhead, top-down car driving.
Yeah.
Shooting stuff and dodging things kind of game. But it's kind of an intro, into the game. It sets the mood that level.
How many times do you think people? Well, again, back then, internet. You don't. How many times do you think people like would turn this on and be like, "Oh, this isn't the game I thought it'd be"?
No, like seriously, the first time I played this, that's exactly the reaction I had. I was like, "What? This is not what this game's supposed to be."
Yeah.
But you get to the first level, and then the game. It's neat because there's if you let it run through the demo, when you turn it on, it starts giving you some backstory, and then you'll play this scene, and then it's sort of like that's the opening scene to the movie, and then it's roll credits. It gives you more plot.
Yeah.
And the cutscenes and the plot are actually
Nice.
I actually really appreciated them. They're sort of. They're actually very reminiscent of like Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden.
Yeah. They are kind of Ninja Gaiden-y.
Yeah, but there's these cutscenes with dialogue. I mean, not spoken dialogue, but text. And I don't understand the plot at all. Just like I probably would not understand the plot if this was actually a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Right.
But I don't need a plot.
No.
All I need to know is this guy has like, I don't know if it's a golf club or a baseball bat, or he has something he can hit people with.
Yep.
He's got a gun to shoot people. And he throws grenades.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need to know.
And I think they're just like, someone put in a generator, okay, what are 3 good title words that would be in like The Vice Project, Doom, and, they just probably picked the top 20. I think they probably picked the top 20 words.
They had they had a hopper just like ours over here.
It would be like
filled with cool 90s words.
Yeah, like Justice and Blade and Blood and like
Justice Blade
Fast.
Blood. Yeah, that's the sequel, I think.
Yeah, Justice Blade Blood. Vice Project Doom.
It's a cool game. I actually really enjoyed it. It's one of those, you have to memorize where the enemies are. It has respawning enemies, and it has enemies that are like super frustrating, just like Ninja Gaiden that are hard to hit, or you have to learn their little patterns and that kind of thing. But I thought the game actually is pretty fair. Whenever you die, it's your fault.
Yeah.
And even if it's not your fault, even if it's a trick, you just remember where it happens again and then make the necessary adjustments. The funny thing about this, I've played this game before a while back, like a few years ago. When I plugged it in to play it, to get ready for this podcast or whatever, I had a faulty NES controller, and my down button wasn't working on it.
That bites, yeah.
And so I'm like, God, this controller is like terrible. Why can't I do this? And why isn't down doing anything? So I fiddled around with it for like 15, 20 minutes before I realized I just had a bad controller. So moral of the story is, it's pretty good if you're actually using a controller that works. Yeah. But no, it's so it has those kinds of scenes, and it's just an action thing. You go through, the levels are kind of split up into separate screens, kind of a la Mega Man. There's different scenes to each level essentially, and if you die, you get like 3 lives, and if you die, you just go back to the beginning of the level, but you might lose. It's the first scene of that level, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Each level has, is punctuated by a boss fight, and the boss fights are They're very fast, but they are very difficult.
Yeah.
So the boss fights are tough, just like you'd kind of. So it's NES hard. I mean,
Yep.
the game is. It's a difficult game, but it's a fair game.
Yeah. I can't imagine this one sold all too well.
Oh, I can't imagine either.
How much does this one go for?
Here on price charting, they've got it listed for complete at $60 and loose about $30. I think that's about right. So it's not like super expensive, but it's not cheap either.
Someone picked this up in Portland recently.
It wasn't me. I've had mine for a
Maybe
while.
it was either Shatterhand or Vice Project Doom. I feel like Shane picked this up, and also the other guys are. Shane's. He's prepping for a vacay. I think, maybe.
Shane's leaving for Florida like early morning hours.
Yeah, and like
and Michael
8 hours
got
or
the
something.
plague.
Yes, Michael got the plague. Yeah, there's that new Days Gone video game coming out, and they have like zombies, and they call zombies something different, and they call them something really different. Days Gone was funny because a couple of years ago everybody was like checking this game out and looked like World War Z with those zombies moving
I
and
remember
everything.
people talking a lot about this like a year and a half ago
Right.
or so.
So I started realizing like they don't talk about it anymore. And last E3 they were kind of like, here's the game coming out, and here's the thing, it's already gone gold and it doesn't come out for another month. Just kind of, and then people who have played it recently are kind of like, oh, this game's trying too hard. So this kind of bites. It sounds like it's going to be like a 6 out of 10.
Honestly, though,
type of
the
game.
zombie survival thing has kind of run its course.
And
at this point, I think.
that's what I've heard is it kind of is a game that like should have come out 5, 6, 7 years ago, or back in like Last of Us. Like is great. I mean, but I think it'd be hard to get into it unless I don't know. It's just, there's so many games out. I don't know if it's just because I'm older, I don't have time. There's just so many games to play. Why play games that aren't so hot, aren't so great?
Or on trading on territory that you've already visited like a million times. Yeah.
But that being said, like I've always said, I'll hold my tongue to a certain degree because I haven't played this dang game. Right. I hate talking about a game I haven't played. We were talking earlier about a game like Zone of the Enders. And I was like, well, at least I rarely play games that are like random like that recently, but I played the Zone of the Enders, the VR reboot thing, and I hated that thing. I was like, oh boy, like what are the old games like? This has to be high on the nostalgia because it felt like you were just swatting bees all the time. You're kind of like this mech that runs around and you have to shoot all these other tiny mechs, and you're in this kind of like valley that's not so big you can go anywhere, but enough that you feel like you're kind of caged in.
It's like Zone of the Enders is modern day cybermorph for the entire Jaguar.
Music, I listened to the soundtrack and I thought Shatterhand was better. I don't know.
Shatterhand is better. It's not bad though.
Yeah.
I mean, Vice Project Doom's it's decent.
Yeah. You played more of it than I did. I did not get a chance to play much of it. I had like, you ever have a time where you're like, hey, I've got a couple hours, and then that couple hours turns into like hardly any time, and then you fiddle with something
day.
like you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Running out of time. It's funny. One of our emails we'll get to here in a little bit talks about that. Like, even when you want time, or even then you get older and you have more time, then the little kids are doing what you'd want to do instead. Dang it.
That's the reason we have 2 Switches in my house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, because we had one. I was like, oh, we'll just share it.
Nope.
And then I could never play it. So I'm like, I'm buying another Switch. Mark's like, you're not getting another one. I'm like, then you tell him to get off of mine.
Nice. Oh, is that the was that the Smash Brothers one you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So anyway, but Vice Project Doom, pretty good game. What would you rate this game?
I would give it. I really liked it. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, admittedly, and it has. If you like Ninja Gaiden, you'll like this.
True, it's more Ninja Gaiden.
It's a very actiony kind of game, but I'm going to give it 4.2 baby bottles.
Okay.
Out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll give it a solid 4, just because playing Shatterhand before, I would prefer that over this. But that being said, you can't go wrong with either. And if you only end up playing one, you can't go wrong with either. And then we'll just assume Shane would give 2 bottle caps, and Michael would. Yeah, I don't know what their scores are. To be determined. We'll have him chime in.
Yeah, I think Shane
next
would have
time.
been a fan of this one.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So anyway, that was one of our listener picks. Thank you. Let's move on to another game that is completely different. CTR. What does that mean?
Well, you can make up anything you wanted, but in this instance, it's Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, Crash Team Racing for the original PS1.
PS1.
And our eyes aren't bleeding after playing a PS1 game for a change.
Yeah, well,
It's not bad.
No, the bleeding has stopped.
Yeah.
I held pressure for 20 minutes, and now I'm okay.
So there's something called jaggies. And if you get some jaggies in your eye when you're looking at the PS1, notoriously, it was something that was really cool, CD based, how much games and how kind of, the soundtrack, I remember playing Tomb Raider back in the day. And it was just such a cool, system. Yeah. So PS1 doesn't notoriously hold up that well. That being said, great library, wonderful system. As a quick aside, I just got the PlayStation Classic.
Oh yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, so I remember we talked about it. I was definitely going to get it because I'm like, YOLO. And then I returned it before opening it.
After you figured out it was full of PAL games and
it was not a quality product, especially for $100. So I turned it back and I got one for $21 shipped to me from Target. It was really like $39.99, which is like, it's getting clearance. It'll probably still go lower, people, but I had 2 random gift cards for buying diapers or something, so it ended up being $21 shipped, total with tax. And I was like, "Yep, that's my price for this thing."
So I got a pro tip for you.
Okay,
pro tip. So Target on baby formula oftentimes will have, if you buy 2 of the big things of baby formula, they'll give you like a $5 or a $10 gift card.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how I got this thing.
Boom! It's awesome. So I'll be like, "Oh, you need formula? I'll just run them to Target and get you some formula." And then I get formula in a game.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done it. I've probably done that for 15 times.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. They'll put it on their app or something. But yeah, a lot of times it's diapers, or if you spend at least $40 on something, you get this. But yeah, it's freaking great. And then I save them up there, and they're like little poker chips in my thing. And
you go over to the little clearance section of the games.
Yep.
Where they have them like half price or knock down to like $10, $15.
Yep.
$20. You get you walk out of there with a $10 game, brand new.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a good little thing to do, a little pro tip. Have you turned yours on or opened it or played it?
Oh, the PlayStation Classic?
Yeah.
No. So
I haven't done it yet. I just got
I shouldn't
it
admit that this
yesterday.
is actually what I've been doing with it. So my now 11-month-old daughter, she's, how little babies are, little kids, toddlers, whatever. If you have like a remote control or a controller, it's all they want. They have like a million toys, and all they want is the thing that you have. You know what I mean? So what I have done when I'm playing my PS4 is I have still not hooked my PlayStation Mini to the TV, but I have it in the cabinet underneath my TV.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I play PS4, I pull the controllers out. I open it up and show her the little console.
Awesome.
And then I set the controllers on the floor, and she chews on or plays with or whatever.
Nice.
The little PlayStation 1 classic controllers while I play the real PlayStation.
That's probably a good use for it.
It's the best use for the PlayStation 1 classic.
Yeah, and it's funny. I looked on the box, and I know what it is. I know what it isn't. I read the side, and it says includes 20. And it said this quote I can't think of right now, but it's basically like 20 awesome genre generation defining defining games. I don't want to be, because everybody's barked up the alarm tree, and everybody's made 100 like YouTube videos about it, where I just was like, whatever. But yeah, now that I'm away from it and I haven't seen all the negativity, and it's been a few months, and I look at the back of the package, and I go through the game list, I'm like, come on, Rainbow Six, Cool Bird, there are 4 games on there that I think legitimately, hey, this is really cool, but literally 4 out of 20. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter because, it's especially for the price I got it. But I was thinking if they would have made those other 16, or let's just say 13 out of the 16, made it 3 or 4 that stunk. Intelligent Cube, I forgot was on there, which is that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool game.
That's the only random cool one that's on there. Besides, thank God they have Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII, Wild Arms, and then a whole lot of Jumpin' Jack Flash. Yeah, and then they had a whole bunch of kind of randos. Anyway, now that I looked at it a couple months later, it still is really bizarre. That thing is a bizarre thing.
Yeah, it's a bizarre little deal.
But anyway, I haven't hooked it up yet. Randomly got that, but so. PS1 Classic, not super nostalgia filled. This game, though, is really quite interesting. Crash Team Racing. filled, if you didn't play Nintendo and you never had a kart racer, which a lot of people did, this was your kart racer. And dare I say it, of the kind of original, Mario Kart, especially at that time, Mario Kart 64, Diddy Kong, and then you have Crash Team Racing, and it is very different. The frame rate's arguably better than the other ones, because they were on the 64. Yeah. This game came out, 1999. Okay. So this came out a few years after those other games. So it kind of took things from them. And, it had parts of the story mode from, say, like a Diddy Kong Racing. I didn't play this one as a kid, so fair warning. Did you play this one?
I think I had like some tangentially. I think maybe I played it a time or two. I know that I saw it back when it was contemporary, but I don't think I ever actually sat down and dedicated any kind of time to it or anything like that.
All right. So the first time I played it was randomly in college. I had an instructor. We were having some shindig for a studio thing we had, and his kid had it, and his kid was young and played it, and I just kind of popped it in because at that time it was already like. Wait a sec, 99 to, gosh, I'm thinking like it was retro at the time and really old, but at that time it was 2002, so that's super weird. It was 2003, so the game was only 4 years old, so it wasn't that old, but I think the PS2 came out by then, yada, yada. So it seemed dated. But I remember the controls being really good, and I played it that one time, and that was it until playing it for this book club. But something I have realized was if I could see why if you played this as a kid, and I think when you would have been the age for us to be a little younger than us, it would have skewed more towards probably something like 28 to 30 to 25 to 30
this would have
year
been,
old.
Near the time I graduated high school.
So this would be somebody in their 20s right now, probably has super nostalgia for this, and that was their kart racer for the times. But it's surprisingly deep, and it plays really well.
Well, it's got power ups. I mean, it borrows heavily from Mario Kart. I mean, it's kind of got power sliding. It's got power ups where you hit the box and you get different weapons and you have
nitrous,
weapons that shoot forward and shoot backwards, and it's got nitrous. It's got like pads on the track you run over that make you go faster. All the different characters. It's got time trial. It's got like cups of 4 races a piece.
Yep.
It's got a battle mode, and then it also has an adventure mode, which is sort of the Diddy Kong racing part of it.
Which I thought was pretty awesome. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of people actually like this game better than than say Mario Kart or Diddy Kong Racing or whatever. And honestly, it's a hard comparison for me to make because I didn't really play this back in the day, but I played those other two a fair bit.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Same here. Yep.
And so it's hard to erase the nostalgia and actually compare the games. I think any 3 of those games are good games.
Yeah.
If I had to just, you can only have 1 kart racer, 2 kart racers, I would still take the 2 N64 racers ahead of this one.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily, if somebody wanted to say or argue Crash Team, I wouldn't say that it's any worse.
No, yeah.
I would just say it's not. What just isn't my thing.
Yeah, exactly. And Diddy Kong. What I liked about that one was, you could do the hoverboard or the planes. But to be honest, those controlled kind of rough, and it was, those weren't as fun actually as the kart. So if those, maybe I shouldn't even add that. But I liked how wide open those tracks were. And Crash Team Racing is a little more Mario Karty. And Mario Kart out of the 3 probably is the hardest one to like pick up and play. Or if you just took someone who lived on another planet and didn't play any of these and played them, I bet you third place would be probably Mario Kart 64 a lot. Even though really, for someone like me, I'd always pick that one first. It's just, that's nostalgia talking, right? So that also kind of proves how good this game is. So they even made a sequel of this like 5 years later for like the Xbox PS2 called Crash Nitro Kart. And here's funny, I don't think, super funny. Crash Nitro Kart I randomly picked up because I was like, oh, another Crash game for whatever. I bought it at this pawn shop, but inside it was like a totally different game. I was like, dang it.
Madden 99.
Open your games. Yeah, I like that it was Madden. It was actually another Crash game.
Every time I buy something and it's got the wrong game in it, it's like a Madden game.
It's maddening.
I had issues with one of our local retailers where every time I'd pick up a PSP game, it would have the wrong game in it.
Yep.
And I'm talking games that they had shrink wrapped and sealed.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And so I started insisting on, you have to let me unwrap this and look and make sure that the right game's inside of it. Because if you try to bring it back, they go, oh, well, you could just switch it.
Does it sound like, does it rhyme with mintage mock?
It does rhyme with mintage smock.
Yeah, it's vintage. It's fine. We could just say it. Because, like, honestly, it's
annoying. Yeah, but I had it happen to me on 2 separate trips, almost back to back, where I got a PSP game that was still in the shrink wrap, and it didn't have the correct game, and it's like the employee didn't even look.
How about this? I once had one of those shrink wrapped, no game at all. The manual is really heavy. And me being some crazy collector, I didn't open it for like a week because, you know, what the heck. And then I was just like, okay, whatever. But actually, do you know what happened? I forgot. I went back and told him, and he gave me either a $5 or $10 vintage stock gift card.
Oh, like well, that's at least they did something for you.
Yeah, and I think it was a $5.99 game. So I was like, good enough, man. Whatever. It's my fault. I didn't open it. But now I do. Now it's like I turn into like granddad under the front thing. I'll stand right here and open everything before I do.
No, open that stuff before you take it home.
You know, Crash Bandicoot specifically. That was Sony's mascot.
Lots of Tood.
Yes, lots of Tood.
Tons of Tood.
Yeah, I really love Crash 2. Was like one of my first PlayStation games I ever got back in 1997, 98. So again, this came out a little bit after. This probably came out after Crash 3. And I heard about this. So Crash Team Racing, the developer, wanted to make this game a couple years earlier, but they kind of were talked into, well, let's make one more traditional Crash game. So they made Warped and put this one on the back burner and then made it come out after that. I'm pretty sure that's the kind of backstory behind it. But it's, not a ton to say. The controls are great. It's one where great freaking game. You could still pick it up and play it, and you could just plug it in. And boy, I wish this was on the freaking PlayStation Classic.
It'd be a great classic game, and it'd be a great multiplayer game to have on the Classic. I actually played this game at home.
Well, I say that, but it doesn't have the dual analog.
So I got the pound HDMI output for PS2. So I played this over an HDMI output RGB on PS2.
Nice.
And then I also played it on a CRT. So I played it on a PS1 on a CRT, and I played it on PS2 on a 4K through an HDMI cable.
Cool.
CRT still wins.
All right, isn't that funny?
It still wins, but it actually was not bad playing it in 480 on a 4K television through an HDMI. Like, it was serviceable and worked well. When I first had it set up, it was, full stretch out, fill out the whole screen.
Right.
But I changed it to 3x4 and shrunk it down.
Yeah, the way it should be. Yeah.
It looked pretty good.
Yeah.
It looked all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know how they fix this because kart racing, especially with all the things on it at the time, that kind of horsepower was hard on the old systems.
Oh yeah, I mean the PS1 is working when it's doing
but
this game.
64 too. That's why they had to use sprites. So Mario Kart 1, you could tell when they're doing their pan around, like it's all the carts are sprites based.
Yeah.
And then somehow in Diddy Kong they were able to like kind of magically not drop the frames, but have 3D drivers. But what was actually 2D on Diddy Kong were the wheels, which is quite interesting because the wheels were too much. Then that slowed everything down. So they were able to do 2D sprites for the wheels in Diddy Kong, but 3D sprites for the rest of the car. I just heard some listeners stop listening. I'm getting that dang specific about a kart racer.
Yeah.
Do you ever just think like, where's my straitjacket? But anyway, I'm sure you guys appreciate knowing that, huh? Don't you? Huh? something
Everyone is now better off for having heard that.
What kind of crazies are we? Music's good. CD-based track. The same guy who
I would say that the one, if there is a
games
single category where this game is better than the N64 games, it's the music.
Oh,
but
I would disagree. I think Diddy Kong, dun dun dun.
Well, no, I shouldn't say the actual tracks of the music quality.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
duh.
sorry.
Yep.
Let me backtrack a little on that.
No, yeah, I think it'll always beat that.
The sound effects are crisper.
Yep.
Just all the sounds just sounds better on the PS1.
They pulled a lot of them.
Yeah,
they pulled a lot of the sound effects from Crash, and Crash did their sound effects really well. It's got this kind of cartoon quality to everything, while still being randomly kind of fresh and new. Yeah.
And Toodish.
It does have some Tood in there for sure. The cart, there are some differences in the cart, right? Class is just like the others. There's a heavy There's a smaller that can get hit, and there's kind of a middle base, just kind of like the others. So
Well, and instead of having 50cc, 100cc, 150cc, it just has easy, average, or normal, and then hard too.
Yeah.
So it has basically all the options and stuff Mario Kart 64 does. They just called them different things.
yeah. And I would be silly to get through this without saying that there's a remaster of the game coming out soon. So how fitting, how poignant, how current, how timely.
Yes.
The Video Game Awards in 2018 said that there's one coming out for the PS4, Xbox, Switch, coming out in June. We're
Correct.
currently March.
Do you have it pre-ordered?
April, May, June. I do not. I'm assuming it's $39.99.
I think that's correct. I pre-ordered it a month or two ago.
Do you feel like I don't feel like they would make this one 60 because I don't think the other one was 60.
No,
I think
I don't think it was. I want to say it was $39.99, but
Yeah.
don't quote me
Yeah.
on that. But I do think it's less.
So
than
you can
60.
pre-order it. I have not pre-ordered it yet. My idea is like I need to get through the other games. They did the Crash remaster, the Spyro remaster, but totally when this goes a little cheaper, I'll totally grab it because I feel it would be good because it probably is going to not play like, but get that good feeling that Sonic Transform Racing or Sonic
Yeah.
Racing. And they announced another one of those coming out soon.
Yep.
Isn't it called like Sonic R or something?
Yeah, something
Sonic-
like that. I can't remember what the exact name of it is. But
And so there's so many good kart races.
yeah,
We should-
those Sonic games are good.
very good. Yeah, very good.
Surprisingly good.
Yeah, very good. There's 2 of them out right now, and they're on a few different systems. Sonic Racing Transfer. They're wonderful. There's a lot of kart racers that came out surprisingly, PS2, but actually like PS3 era. They had Jimmy Johnson's Anything with an Engine. That was the title of one of them. Seriously, you can find this thing in a bargain bin or something. It's Jimmy Johnson's Anything with an Engine for the PS3, Xbox 360, and it's a kart racer that's kind of built around rednecks making engine races on anything like lawnmowers
So it
and stuff.
sounds like my growing up experience.
Yeah. So it's actually competent. There's F1 Race Stars, which is like a kart racer in kind of like with little F1 guys. There's hundreds of these things, but that's another good one. There's another one called NASCAR Unleashed, which is kind of a small one, and then biscuits. There's one more.
I always think of Cell Damage around this time too.
Oh, yeah.
I guess that's a little bit later, but that's one that I always think of as like for. I mean, I think it's on other things, but I remember playing that on the OG Xbox, back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. There's one more, and darn it, I can't think of it because it's super hidden gemmy on the PS3 and 360, but it's also kind of plays like it's kind of like Midnight Club meets Mario Kart, and it's like really, really good. I can't think of what that dang game is.
I can't help you on that one.
I'll have to put it on the next one, but it's one that not many people have heard of, but I'll bring it up next time. So. Boy, what else can we say about it? Really like it. Not too expensive of a game.
No,
Yeah,
it's
like-
so. Price Charting has a complete copy for $18.
Yeah.
Yeah, so $20.
Yeah, and you could probably find it for less than that, especially in a lot.
Yeah, I have a disc only copy. I think I paid like 99 cents for or something. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I played my disc only copy.
Yeah. So anyway, those are our video game book club picks. Something we didn't get to. A couple things. Okay, Baby Bottles. I'll also go 4 out of 5.
I'll go 4 out of 5 on this
Yeah.
one. That sounds pretty reasonable.
I could see totally nostalgia would make this a 5 out of 5 for anybody. I think worst case scenario, if you're giving it less than a 3.5, you aren't appreciating the fact that this game plays really, really well, and this game holds up really, really well. So you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. I'm getting too angry today. I don't know what's going on. So back of the box. What do you say?
Back in the box. Let's do it. Which would you like to hear first?
How about we go in order? Let's do Vice. Project Doom.
Vice, Project
Now,
Doom.
don't scare the kids. Keep it
right.
family friendly.
Vice, Project Doom. Shoot to kill.
Oh, gosh. We already lost. Oh, boy. It's already too much.
Everyone's craving it. The hunt is on. Jail is the latest to hit the streets. It's noon, green, lethal, and dropping its users like flies. This is like hardcore stuff for the back of an NES package.
It is so far. Yeah.
Yeah, it's talking about drugs, man.
Yeah.
So your Vice officer, Quinn Hart,
Quinn Hart.
a no-nonsense sledgehammer for the law.
Nice. I like it. No nonsense sledgehammer.
You pack a vicious 44 crushing grenades and a lightning-fast laser that gives you an edge over anything on 2 feet. Your mission? Take down the big boss of the operation.
It's always Big Boss. Yep.
It ain't easy. You've got an army of assets just waiting to take you for a ride, and a long ride. You'll battle the dark alleyways of Chinatown, on the highways, through steamy jungles, and ultimately you'll seek and destroy the vendor of the green elixir.
Yeah. Yeah. That's destroying our town. God, it's like Judge Dredd before Judge Dredd.
It is, yeah. The other thing, interesting thing is one of the characters in the name is actually named Reese.
Oh.
It's like a total Terminator ripoff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Reese.
Yeah, very
It's
good.
like it's surprising how much they kind of like
yeah.
you know sort of. I wonder why you chose that name.
Yeah, I know, and there weren't enough people to like make sure that this wasn't.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't follow the plot on this at all. But it's there's aliens and they're making drugs, and you're basically trying to break up this drug syndicate that's run by aliens.
Yeah, as you would. So
it's based on a true story, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I think this is definitely aimed at a little bit more of a mature of the. This is for the younger teenage brother.
It is. This is for the kids that started out with the Atari.
Yeah, in the front, there's a guy with a gun, a lady holding them and stuff. So anyway, that's that. Let's go to a CTR, Crash Team Racing.
Crash Team Racing. All right. So here we go. Survival of the Fastest is the name of the game, as friends and foe race for the ultimate prize, planet Earth. Confronted by nitrous oxide, his most fearsome adversary so far, Crash Bandicoot is forced to ask his old enemies for help. All of your favorites join forces in this ultra-fast, addictive kart racing adventure. And now we go to the bullet points. 18 multi-reward tracks with heart-stopping leaps, hairpin bends, and realistic environments that affect gameplay. Ooh. Loads of weapons and power-ups to help you cheat your way to the front. I don't really consider that cheating. Adventure, arcade, and time trial modes. Additional multiplayer racing options, including 4-player battle mode. It would have actually been nice to try this on a 4-player battle mode just to see.
I agree.
With the multi-tap, just to see how that actually does hold up.
Yeah, I did not get to do that. So that's interesting. Like, I forgot to mention the story. There's an actual story, which is quite, the other ones are like, hey, we're just racing to race. This one is, there's this bad guy. What is he called? Nitrous oxide.
Yeah, nitrous oxide.
Nitrous oxide is going to like destroy everybody. And he goes and destroys planets to see who can race faster than him. And then if they race faster than him, he leaves. And if they don't race faster than him, he blows up your planet. Which to me is like, did you escalate that a little bit, sir? Like you're coming in, you have space age technology and you want to race on the ground with some carts. And then if you don't, you're going to murder us. Like, geez, what was your childhood like, man?
Yeah, it's, again, based on a true story.
Yeah, Hallmark special. So anyway, let's move on to what are going to be our picks next week. So if you subscribe to our YouTube, the couple hundred of you, you can figure out what that is, what our Video Game Book Club pick from our listeners is earlier. So we prove it with our little fun randomizer. We don't have to hold it because you already should know what it is. Claymates. For the Super Nintendo.
For the Super Nintendo, yes.
Yeah, by Thorin, also aka Nerdtron64. Check out his YouTube because he opened a package. He won. He's been our workhorse for.
We've abused him a fair amount.
Yeah,
since we started doing.
Anytime we do a contest where it's like, hey, do you want to do this thing where we might give you something hardly worth the time of hours and hours of sifting through our episodes so we can categorize, either our picks or our commercials we did. Anyway, he won both those and got to us in record time. So it's fitting that he randomly got his game chosen, but I don't know. I heard this game might not be the greatest thing ever.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see if it is or not.
Yeah.
And then we also, since we're going back to a dad pick.
Yeah, so again, just for listeners who have only been catching the last couple episodes, we were rotating around and going from the infancy of Nintendo, but not really. We've kind of picked and did we do Jaguar? No.
We have not done the Jaguar.
See, we're kind of anyway. Well, whatever.
And we haven't done 3DO.
But there's some Jaguar in the pick. I think there might be a Jaguar game from a listener anyway. But anyway, we made our way through the Dreamcast, and now we are at the PlayStation 2. And Adam, since your name begins with an A and mine begins with a B, you win in the game of life. So you get to pick first. So for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick a game that I haven't really played before, but I own, and I think it looks cool. I don't think it got the greatest reviews. I'm not really sure what the sales were on it, but it's a game that I want to go back and play because I think it looks cool, and that is 13.
13, and that is like almost spelled with the symbols, right?
It's spelled like Roman numeral XIII.
Yeah, so if you're searching for this, what a good pick. When you saying you might pick this, I was like, yeah, I agree. I have not played it, but I wanted to.
It looks cool. So it's a first-person shooter.
Right.
But it looks like you're playing inside of a comic book panel.
Yes, and it's also kind of like based on an old movie or something.
Yeah, it's like noir kind of thing, I think. So I don't know. We'll just have to see. And I think even when you shoot your gun, it like has the clack, 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 or like the words coming up, and all that. So it's like an updated version of Comic Zone for bro dudes or something. I'm not.
Yeah, we kind of don't know. All we know is it's got style. We'll see if it's got style over substance or too much or whatever. We'll kind of figure out. But the nice thing is we were nice to you guys because this is a cheap game. It's like a $4 game.
Yeah. This dang game is dirt cheap.
Yeah, and I think it's a mixture of. I think they probably overproduced it or something like that.
I think it was. I think this was a game that they anticipated being like a really high-selling game that was not a high-selling game.
Yeah, I do remember some hype from it way back when. But anyway, that's great. Adam picked 13 for the PlayStation 2, XIII 13. And then also we have Thorin Claymates for the Super Nintendo will be our video game book club picks for next episode. All right, so moving on, I figured let's get our listener emails and reviews kind of out of the way, and just so you know, it's a lot easier if you send us an email directly to our Yahoo as opposed to like Facebook. We appreciate Facebook messages. We try to reply back to those as well, but just for simplicity's sake, because we need that in our lives, send us an email. If you want all of us to read it or you got something kind of a little bit longer. So anyway.
VideoGameDads@yahoo.com.
Yeah, VideoGameDads@yahoo.com. So we hadn't done this for a couple weeks, so let's knock some of these out. So we have an email from let's see, I believe it's a Shane, not our Shane, obviously. Hey, guys, I've been a listener to your podcast for a year now and enjoyed going through the back catalog. That's nice. Yeah. So he's had some old episodes while he's waiting for some new ones to pop out. Just wanted to mention something about the Wii Virtual Console that many of your listeners would be interested in. If you have a large library of games, do not transfer them to the Wii U. The original Wii has a great feature where you can output the resolution. So yeah, this was an interesting email kind of talking about how to like maximize, how good games look, and they don't look as good when you put them into the Wii U, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because it's emulating the Wii almost, right?
It is, yeah. There's a Wii emulator inside of your Wii U.
Yeah. So if that it's like Inception, right, as you like to say. But that includes all the old NES, SNES, Master System, all those games, and the Wii U outputs in the lowly 480i. Per what Shane says. So let's see, what else they say. So for those of you retro gaming purists and want to know that, and at the very least, you can hook it up to a CRT monitor and play those rare titles.
Yeah,
that are hard
Wii
to
on
find.
RGB on a CRT looks really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else does it say? I can tell you listen, many modern TVs can't interpret. Yeah, 240. So that's a big thing if you know why you don't hook up the old stuff to the new TVs. It's worth go getting your CRT. It's because your TV's like, why are you hooking up this arcane thing to me? I don't know what to do with it. I try to add lines to it and it ends up kind of looking all terrible. So those old CRTs, which still, we've talked about this before, pawn shops and
Curbsides
or like garage sales.
Craigslist for free. Come and get it.
Yep. Yeah, like you should be able to find some, and they run forever as long as you get a good one that doesn't look abused. Prison TVs, you can find those suckers on that kind of stuff too, and they're cool because they're clear or whatever. So anyway, thanks for that, Shane, for that mention. So our next email is from a Tim V. As a dad of 2 and 35. Oh, a dad of 2, and I thought you had a 2-year-old and a 35-year-old, and I was like, dude, Hugh Hefner. No, as a dad of 2 and 35 years old, I'll add that in there, Tim. With working 50 hours a week, I can relate to you all very much. Yes. Growing up, I didn't have much money, so I played the same 10 games all the time. I think everybody did. Like no one was.
Yeah, no, that's what we did back in the day.
That's what everybody did, and there's actually nothing wrong with that. We got better at games.
That rentals, man. I only had like 8 or 10 games for each of my systems. All the rest of them were rentals.
Yeah. I think I got up to maybe 25, 30 for Super Nintendo, but I remember thinking like that's high or whatever. No one had hundreds of games back then. Even when they got cheap, they were just more like, how can we get rid of these? Gosh,
I remember I had a whole shoebox. It was full front to back with
Yeah.
games, and I felt like a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it felt like a lot.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. I was
and-
like, ooh, this is like a whole lot of stuff.
Can you imagine? And then you were to show your adult self to yourself. Yeah, that would have been nuts, right? But anyway, he goes on to say, then I stopped gaming for years. Now I have the desire to play again with my kids being 4 and 2. My daughter tests my patience with playing the Lego games on PS3, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I agree. The Lego games are like, they're wonderful, but also you can't kind of move on unless the other person at least like, come here, come on, go. Yeah. They do this. They do the split screen as well, and those really well. And I actually have all the Lego games with the anticipating being able to play those with my kid growing up. So I'm excited about that. He says, I'm only planning on collecting all of the PS3 to satisfy what I would play with the kids. Since August of last year, I'm 150 games and multiple PS3s. Please keep up the good work. Oh, well, look at that. Another.
Cool.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Thanks for that mention. Shout. Actually, I think I talked to this guy before here and there. Maybe direct message on the old Facebook or something like that. I know he's a collector, so good for you. It's a good system to collect for. It's dirt cheap. Let's see. This one's from Lee. This is a nice email. So if you guys didn't hear the last episode, this wouldn't make much sense. But this one's kind of more directed to Michael. Well, I got 20 minutes into episode 40, and I had to hit the pause button and just say I appreciate your guys' personal updates. Michael talking about his kiddo and the special needs really hit home with me. My son was born with spina bifida, and for the past year, we've had an issue with a bully at school. And finally, after this year, it's been resolved. So he's 9 years old, and watching him really realize that he's different than other kids has been difficult. Anyway, just wanted to say thanks and love the show. Keep up the good work, or keep on keeping on. That is from Lee. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we got to be transparent with you guys, and I know that was something that was probably pretty cathartic for Michael, and something we kind of organically knew about. But I don't know. There's not much to say about that. We just really appreciate that, and I know so did Michael. So, yeah, thanks a lot. We try to be real with you guys. We're just average schmoes, so we like hearing about you guys, and knowing when we say things like that. There's been a couple times early on where we go through stuff, and you guys just. I mean, we wouldn't do this without you. If no one was listening, we'd do other stuff. Our lives would go on. But we really appreciate you guys messaging us. And it isn't so easy projecting your fears and things into space. So knowing that you guys appreciate it, we'll continue to do that because you guys are our peeps. Is this from a Zach? Yeah, from a Zach, a.k.a. Zach Daddy. All right, I'll do that. I left an iTunes review for you, 5 stars. Thank you. A few weeks ago, thought I'd follow up with some listener praise. Finally submitted a book club pick. Initially heard about you guys. I kind of run through this one. It's a longer email, but we appreciate it just for time's sake. He heard about the podcast actually doing a pickup live from Shane. Not Shane from the first email. Don't be super confused. Shane on our podcast. He talked for a minute and heard about the podcast, and he's been hooked and addicted ever since. And I guess he's been a collector forever because he never got rid of games. Started collecting about 5 years ago. And then this is kind of interesting. He said not the size of his collection, but the collecting habits is very similar to you, Adam.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Stop now.
Yeah, he says pipe dream would be to like open a museum here in Kansas City, downtown area, but decide to set out and collect every major cartridge-based U.S. console, starting with the Odyssey up until the current gen.
Wow.
Although current gen cartridge, he's talking about the Switch then.
Switch,
okay.
yeah, dude.
Cartridge. Well, you're kind of running out. This is gonna be the end of the cartridge. I don't know, right?
No, maybe. I
Yeah.
love collecting Switch right now.
Yeah, it is technically, I guess, a cartridge, just enough that you can like put on your tongue and swallow it. It's kind of weird. But anyway, his initial goal was to get the top 5. And so it's interesting. Like this guy's kind of a hybrid of how I collect and you collect. He wanted to get the top 5 games from every system and kind of just leave it at that. Because he thought the top 5 games that he thought best represented each system, which is quite interesting. That'd be an interesting list.
That's a hard list to come up with.
Yeah, and he said games he actually enjoys playing, like no RPGs. Again, no love to all the, no hate towards RPGs, but for real, RPGs take a lot of time. I got to be working from home 10 hours a day, get some cush job.
Yeah,
Trust
RPGs
fund baby
are
or
not
something.
a thing that happens right now.
Yeah. But anyway, he's starting to run out of steam with collecting, but our podcast reinvigorated him. So his collection has expanded. So now he's got like games friggin' everywhere, which brings him to his book club pick. I'll kind of skip ahead. He actually... he wanted to listen to every episode and give in a pick that hadn't been given, but one of the recent episodes, the list, all of the ones he was going to submit had been submitted, I think. Let's see. And then he goes on to say, I'm actually not ready. He'll narrowed it down to 3. So skipping ahead, sorry. So here are his 3 ones for us to pick from. So we'll do that now. One of them is Clash at Demon Head for the NES.
It's a good pick.
Okay. I've heard of this. It's a cool name. Never played it. But he really liked it. How about this? We'll just name the 3 and then we'll pick one. And I'll tell him why. Because he was great. He kind of gave a spiel for all of them. So we had Clash of Demon Head for the NES, In the Hunt for the Sega Saturn, and then Brutal Sports Football for the Atari Jaguar are his 3 picks.
I know what I want. I'm not sure what you want.
Okay. Go ahead. You tell me what you want.
In the Hunt.
Okay. And I want Brutal Sports Football. So let's see his reasoning here. Okay. So he said, if there's one thing lacking from your show, it's love for the Jag. That already made. That's why I wanted to pick
If there's one
it.
thing lacking from the universe, it's love for the Jag.
At least he's saying it that way.
Yeah.
So what if he made that an iTunes review and made 1 star? You guys don't love the Atari Jaguar.
I like
1
the
star.
Jaguar. I actually have a Jaguar CD.
You do, and Shane likes it too.
Yeah,
but
Shane's a Jaguar
But
guy.
let's be real. The games aren't that great, and he even says that himself. He's like, I know it can be hard to love, but for reasons I can't explain, I have a soft spot in my heart for it. I actually like to play each game pretending like I was a kid back in the day who unfortunately had a Jaguar in lieu of an SNES or Genesis. And y'all hate on Mortal Kombat, and I love Ultra Vortex instead. But Brutal Sports Football is like the Jag version of Mutant League Football.
That's good company.
Yeah, I know. And he said he picked this one because it was the Jag game that he really interested his friends. And I make them play that every time I get the Jag out. And it's the only one so far that's been brought out back for a second play. So that's my reason why I think Brutal Sports Football. The other one, In the Hunt for the Sega Saturn. This was a game he never heard of. He started collecting and learning about all the systems. No exposure to the Saturn, so it was a pleasant surprise. And he's adding it to his list because his 5-year-old and also his 11-year-old is playing this one with him. And those not familiar, it's basically Metal Slug in a submarine.
Yeah, it's actually made by the people that made Metal Slug.
Yeah, lots of fun. But In the Hunt also wasn't that
PS1?
PS1. Okay, so
It's PS1 and Saturn.
yeah. So Brutal Sports Football for the Jaguar or In the Hunt. Are we either of us budging right here? You want In the Hunt?
I won't die on this hill, but
Okay.
But I'd rather play.
Okay, so-
it's mostly because I love Metal Slug.
Okay, so how about this? Let's do this real quick. Okay, so we talked enough about Brutal Sports. I would rather have Brutal Sports. I think it's true the Atari Jag. There is one more in there.
And I have In the Hunt. I don't have sports.
Yeah, but I also think it wouldn't be that expensive. But either way, you like In the Hunt. Let's just flip for it. I'm fine with either because we've talked enough about them. If Brutal Sports Football is that great and someone really wants to play it, they have now heard of it. So we'll say we'll do this will be In the Hunt, the heads, and then Brutal Sports will be tails. Let's just see what it gets. Oh, okay. Adam wins. In the Hunt.
In the Hunt.
For Sega Saturn, we have now picked for yours just to put in the pool. We made it seem like this is getting picked. sorry, buddy, you got to wait like everybody else. Thanks, Zach, for the email. Let's see. Oh, and he put in a little pro tip at the end and include Shane's voice. Pro tip. As a dad with older kids than yours, he has a piece of video game dad advice. Be careful getting them interested in the hobby. I've gotten my systems up in a few different rooms across the house, and it never fails every time he wants to play a game. There's another kid using the TV and wants to use it. But he says it's hard to kick him off because he wants to play the Jag and they're playing like Battletoads or something cool. So again, you're talking about a problem that's not a problem. So I don't know.
World, man.
Yeah, Zach, I think that's a wonderful problem. If I was coming home and had my whole family playing retro video games, I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. I'd be expecting a mobster with a gun behind me. Yeah. It's like so perfect. No, just kidding. Let's see. Dads months ago. Okay, let's see here. Guys wanted your input in open world games. Let's see. Who is this from? This is from Bob. Thanks, Bob, for this email. We talked about open world games last time. He said one of his favorites is called New Horizons for the SNES. Mm-hmm. Do you know about this game?
Nope. No, I don't know anything about it, really. It's not one that I've played.
Yeah, New Horizons. You pick a character. Believe there's 6. They start out in different worlds, different goals, but you pick one, can do whatever you want. Explore the globe with your ship, find new towns. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, do you have it? Do you have, like, I'll have to see if Steve, you want to put this in the thing? I don't know.
Sounds like we should put it in the
thing. Like we put it in the thing. Let's put it in the thing. New Horizons from the SNES we'll put in the pick for next time. Also, he said, can't remember which one of you guys has been... but anyway, he said there's so much fun to do in the game. Hard to get bored. He said, but anyway, looking for Wii U Barbie games, and he's selling off all his Wii U Barbie games. He says, I know you guys say don't send you stuff, but if you want them, they are yours. So he was going to send them no cost. You guys give me plenty of entertainment. He was going to give me Barbie Puppy Rescue or Barbie Dream House for Adam and his Wii U set, free for yourselves. But you know what? What's your update there, Mr. Adam?
I think I'm done.
Yeah,
I got to go back and retotal, but I've got all the Wii U games.
Yeah, so thanks, Steve.
Thank you, but
that's really nice of you, Steve.
It would be dishonest of me to take them.
Yeah, so pay it forward, trade them in, give them to somebody else, but we appreciate it.
Yep.
But looks like Adam's got his Barbie games.
If you're going to have all of them, you got to have all of them.
Yeah, that's just what you got to do.
They will still be sealed 20 years from now.
Yeah. So let's move on to our iTunes reviews here. We've got one from an S. Taylor, 5-star review. Love this. This is my all-time favorite gaming podcast. Easy to listen to, and if you're not an experienced gamer, you can still relate. Way to go, guys! Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah, that's where the Pi Talks come in handy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then another one came in just maybe last week. Number 1 Pack fan. Found this podcast about 3 weeks ago. I've been binging it from episode 0. Funny, interesting, and totally relatable. Boy, sometimes words come out. I'm going to mess it up. Totally relatable. That's hard to say. As I am also a video game dad of 2 kids in my 30s. Highly recommended. 5 stars. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And here's another one. Not 5 stars. Not at all. This is by a Larry703. 1 star, disappointed. This one we've actually had for a while. It was back in January. We just haven't read it because
we haven't done reviews.
Yeah, we haven't done reviews. He emailed the Video Game Dads podcast numerous times to find the name of a website mentioned during their show, which apparently has video game production numbers, and to no avail. I can only imagine that they want to hoard this website so nobody else can tell which games have low production numbers. They also claim to be family friendly, but basically spoil Santa Claus in their latest episode 38, unsubscribed. So, it took a couple years.
I guess, yeah.
I guess Larry's not a fan. So there's a little bit to unpack there. So really, it wasn't much about our podcast. It was more about, I guess, communication issues mentioning this. So. And also, here's the funny thing. So originally, this review, keeping really transparent, this review was a lot kind of saltier initially, and so I just reported it to iTunes because initially it said basically they ruined Christmas. We ruined Christmas. Because we made a story about. And here's the thing, folks, and if kids are around, do you really think that adults know about Santa Claus.
I'm not sure that Larry knew about Santa Claus.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we only know what we're supposed to know, okay? And also, I don't think Shane ever said anything like that either.
I don't think that. I think that was something that was misinterpreted. But
we aren't able to make Santa Claus disappear as much as anybody else, okay? And the other thing was, initially it was kind of thought too, again, it's so funny because when I reported this, just because I'm like, this guy's salty for whatever reason, this isn't really helping anything. If it was like legit, like he didn't like it because of this or that, then that would have been one thing. But iTunes just reworded this because initially it was kind of like, well, it's either one thing. Either they don't want us to know what it is, or it's funny that iTunes, like when I reported, all they did was grammatically kind of correct it. And they made it, instead of saying like, they also claim to be family friendly, but basically spoil. Originally his sentence was just like way more just like upset, I guess, but it said the same thing. So anyway, this is more just interesting to me because of how iTunes deals with things where you're kind of reporting a concern or something like that. What really happened, and this is the truth, is I did mention about a video game podcast. This is just so now everybody knows the information, which is good. Early on, I talked about knowing print runs for games, okay? And so I mentioned there was a website that mentioned like print runs for a lot of games. Not all of them, and not going back to a lot of times.
Some games it's never reported.
Yeah, and some games, but a lot more. And so what happened was I saw this website a couple years ago, and I had the dangest time trying to find it again. Okay, it is now called VG Charts. So like video game charts, it's VGCHARTZ, I think, .com or s.com. And here's the problem. What happened was we got an email, and most of our emails, just so you know, are kind of nice and saying, hey, we really love the podcast, this and this. Every once in a while, we'll get someone just kind of blatantly just, hey, you mentioned this on your podcast, tell me this information. Kind of more like, hey, like we have PR or something.
You made a free podcast, now you owe me something.
Yeah, like tell me about this thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of hard to take time of our day and reply to somebody who doesn't at least give us some sort of feedback. Like he just calls it, hey, and here's one of the old emails I found. It just said, Dads, months ago, one of you mentioned a website that gave production numbers. Can you please share that website with me? ? Larry. And it was just kind of, anyway, a message also on Facebook. So to be honest, when he messaged, I actually tried to look up and find this website. The problem was I could not find it. And then it was even frustrating me because I wanted to look up print runs and figure out how I found it. Because I remember it was like a white background. I remember I had to open this like red tile and find it. And I never heard of it before, and I don't hear about much of it before. So he messaged us, hey, could you tell me about this thing? And that was it. Very one line, gimme. And I'm like, fine. So I remember 2 different nights I actually tried to find this website for a long period of time. I did fail to like message him back and say, hey, I've been looking for this, but I couldn't find it. It was more like, so I remember I spent 45 minutes one night searching the internet trying to find this dang website, getting super frustrated. And then another time, and then I forget because I'm doing whatever. But I never messaged this guy back. But also, again, the original iTunes review, it was pretty like salty. Like it's like you either want to keep this because you want to hoard the games for yourself.
I just think it's hilarious that people think that we're like I'm, the evil version of Scrooge McDuck or Mr. Burns. Like I'm Mr. Burns sitting at my house going, oh, I know all of the production numbers and no one else does, and how I'm going to be filthy rich.
So it's either like
the whole thing's a little bit silly.
Yeah. So either way, but what I'm getting at is the 2 things that he thought. So it's either one of 2 things. Either they want to hoard this for themselves and they don't want to tell anybody else, or like the other thing he said initially. And the truth is neither of those are right, Larry. And so you might, evidently you're unsubscribed, so you're not even listening to this, I guess. But I'll email you back. I'll find your old email. It has your first and last name, but I'll obviously only use your first name. But, on your Facebook and everything, it shows everything. But I'll just email you back and say, hey, here's a website, and tell you the same thing I'm telling you now. I looked it up, and guess what? I found it. And it's called videogamecharts.com. The problem is, something happened in the last 2 years where they basically revamped the entire website. So I found this website a couple times when I was searching, but I would look at it and say, oh my God, this website is covered with ads. the whole layout is different. This is not the original website. It turns out it is. It must have been resold to somebody because this website sucks now because it has a whole bunch of ads everywhere, and you could still find the print runs. So this is good information for anybody to know. So you could look up VGCharts, right, .com, and it looks like a pretty cruddy website. But if you search a game like Mini Ninjas, for instance, our book club pick from a episode or two ago, and you look and you scroll down to the right, they show the North American, Europe total numbers, and they base it on like tens of thousands, and you can kind of get how many of them were sold, and you get pretty good demographics of games. Usually not brand new games, but games all the way down to like Super Nintendo and stuff. You could find the print runs for, including PS2. So it's called Video Game Charts. So innocently, what happened was they redid the whole website. I couldn't find it because they kind of just revamped it like they used to do in the 90s when they would like change a whole layout of a website. So that's what's true. Unfortunately, it gave us a 1 star, so that kind of stunk. But I guess I implore our listeners that may be listening that want to give us a higher star review, please do. It didn't knock us from we have a 67 and we have maybe a 3 star, a couple 4 stars, and a whole lot of 5 stars, so we really appreciate it. But I wouldn't mind getting that review knocked down a little bit, as far as not one of the first ones that you read, because obviously we're a bunch of amateur guys. We understand the intent of that review, but at the end of the day, doesn't really bother us. Just know that you weren't right, dude. I just literally kept trying to actually reply back to you and figure out this thing for you, and I spent a couple hours actually looking for it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll just give my 2 cents on it too. I mean, it's cool that everybody supports us and sends, and the vast majority of people who we met at cons, emails and everything have been way cool.
First me,
this is actually the first negative thing that I think I've had, related to the podcast as far as reviews and that kind of stuff goes. That's fine, but the bottom line is, I think this is kind of a malicious thing. I mean, I think this guy wants to hurt us for some reason because he feels like we owe him something, and I don't really know why, but that's kind of a misconception. I mean, we're just people who are collecting. We do this because we enjoy it. We have our families, and we kind of want to be part of a community and share things with people. And that's what we're here about. That's what we're here for. And I actually don't. I mean, if this guy wants to head for the door, that's fine. I don't necessarily.
He technically already did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if he's already out of here, and honestly, half the time people say that they're not listening anymore. They still are. But seriously, if you are listening, please turn us off.
Yeah, fair enough. Because if you think we would be like that, I guess we'd be pulling the snake out of your eyes over your eyes, because we've done like over 100 hours of content. And that's not what we're kind of like. There's a lot of that out there, and like anything, we really got to take it for out of the thousands and thousands and thousands of downloads we have that we get to like look at and see how many people actually kind of tune back into us. We know a lot of people are listening. I, for one, always, that very few people actually kind of reach out anyway, but we get a tons of support. So we're not hurting over this. But I remember when we first got it, we're like, how do we address this? And I'd be like, we don't want to sound salty back, but like, how about this? I am finally addressing your question, which I didn't do before, but also at the end of the day, respect is kind of a two-way street. So that's how that goes. So, moving on, I wanted to quickly talk about this thing called Extra Life.
Extra Life.
And it's not just a green mushroom, right? And speaking of somebody for my birthday, Sebastian and I share a birthday. So I got wonderful gifts. Thank you for your gift as well, your gifts as well to us and myself and Bash to us. And I got a cool like Ninja Turtles video game. But I got this fun little light that's like a green 1-up thing, and you press it, and it goes, the dun, 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 or whatever the noise
like
is.
The
1-up noise, the quick little 1-up noise. And freaking Sebastian loves this thing, and he's such in a mode of repetition, where like Rain Man style, like. Yeah, he'll press it all the time, and he loves the heck out of it. And then also, like, he's still into doors. Whenever my kid will get over doors, opening and closing, and then opening and closing, and
drawers too.
Yeah, he doesn't so much with the drawers. Thank God, because we have a lot of drawers.
Yeah, my kid was drawers, not doors.
Okay, so maybe pick your boys. I shouldn't complain, because at least the doors require him. Here's the funny thing: this is such a parent thing to say. The opening and closing a door requires him to like open it, move in it, close it, open it again.
But yeah, it takes effort.
It takes energy, which then wears him out. And a drawer, he could just be like,
no, seriously, man. Yeah, my son. Oh. Yeah, every drawer in the house, every cabinet drawer,
Really? That's
every
funny.
nightstand. Yeah,
That's freaking hilarious.
yeah. I'm going to be,
but not.
I have got to get everything out of that drawer. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Everything's got to come out.
Oh gosh, it's so funny. But anyway, getting off on that. But anyway, I had a nice little birthday, a Mario themed birthday party, which was so much fun.
Yeah,
Get
it was a lot of
cake
fun.
and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I still love, second birthday we've had because my son and I share a birthday. They only get funner. So anyway, there's something called Extra Life, and you might or might not be aware of it, but I'll kind of fill you in without, unfortunately, having the website in front of me. Extra Life is basically kind of like a benefit, mainly ran by kind of gamers or video game kind of people, and it's goes with Children's Hospital Charities, where you kind of can represent donations, right? For a stream, usually it's for a stream. It's for any kind of publicity where you can kind of raise money, and all the proceeds go to children's hospitals, right? For the more or less. Extra Life can be done kind of any time through the year. I know a lot of streamers end up doing it at a certain time of year. So the idea is, you set a goal, you try to raise some money, and people watch your content and donate it. But the fun thing is you're kind of doing it throughout an entire weekend or 24 hours straight. And you're kind of like streaming, playing video games. And I was looking this up and seeing how we can do this. And it's pretty easy. You kind of just donate to Extra Life, and then they give you all these codes and things and certain like PayPal. So the money goes directly. It doesn't even like if it gets donated to us.
It doesn't go to us. It
doesn't go to us at all. Like that's the neat thing. If Extra Life is the logo is kind of cool. It's like a controller with wings on them, you know. But it benefits such a great cause. We were hoping to do this maybe in the next few months. We haven't set aside a date.
Yeah.
We're going to have the wives agree to it, because I think we'll do that. Like, if we do this, we're going to do this legit and do like 24 hours straight live stream of the video game dads playing some video games. And then part of the idea is also, people who donate would get to pick the games we're going to play, or maybe do some some challenges.
Yeah.
Maybe there might be some alcohol. I think that's allowed.
Really?
Oh yeah, because Giant Bomb Extra Life does like streams, and they'll play like a Guitar Hero and get wasted, and that sounds great.
Guitar Hero for 24 hours sounds
Yeah,
brutal.
that sounds not just Guitar Hero, but like we all play like a certain game we really like, and then play some multiplayer
Yeah,
stuff.
well, this is what people do, like Desert Bus. That's the one that I know that's like the more like we're going to play Desert. And for those that don't know, Desert Bus is part of an unreleased Sega CD game where you literally just drive a bus through the desert for like 8 hours, and then you turn around and go back another 8 hours, and then you just go back and forth. But
you can't, and you actually can't stop.
Oh,
There's
no,
no way to
'cause-
save it.
yeah, there's no way to save it, and then the bus wants to steer itself off the road, so you actually have to pay attention.
Yep.
But so a lot of people do Desert Bus. It would be more manly of us, I think, to say let's do Desert Bus.
No way.
But I don't get that much time to play video games that often, so please, not Desert Bus.
No, there's no way. Unless, okay, how about this? Fair enough. Like, we're not
Yeah.
even going to set our donation high. But if you donate something stupid like $5,000, well, this won't happen. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
if you donate $5,000, I will play Desert Bus for 24 hours.
We will
Yes.
play Desert Bus for 24 hours if you donate someone random donate. Desert $5 grand.
I may even print out a Desert Bus disc and eat it.
Yeah,
if you
no
donate
kidding.
$5,000.
Yeah. But anyway, we're thinking about doing that. I just wanted to say, if you haven't heard of this, it's a great cause. A lot of streamers do it and raise a ton of money.
Yeah,
and it's a ton of fun. And we're actually, maybe in the next couple of weeks, we'll get together and kind
Yeah,
of
and
see
actually,
what,
even if any of you listeners have ideas about how we could do this, or
maybe
just-
done it in the past.
or just
Yeah.
logistics. Yeah, if you've done it in the past, throw us a line. Let us know what you think's a good idea. How did you set it up? All that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
because we'll want to make sure we want to have cameras around, things like that, and ways to interact and chat. Because we're this kind of thing. We do the radio stuff, not so much the live stuff. But
Yeah.
that sounds like something right up our alley, and I think would be a good
Yeah, no, I
thing
think
to
it'd be
do
a lot of fun, yeah.
annually, because we talk about games more than we get to play them together. That's for sure. But anyway, I think that'd be fun. So, Adam,
Yes,
it's that.
it's the time again.
Time again. I don't know what the heck that was. Whatever I was going for was not working.
It's
so
okay.
anyway, it's that time again.
For the
Video game. What? Wait.
what?
Whoa.
It's time again.
Holy crud, dude! I just went into like brain takeover
It's
mode.
okay.
It's
That's
not going to be the book
that's,
club.
that's the autopilot.
Oh my gosh, this is our
Handheld Holla!
Yeah. Oh man, that wavelength looks good.
Oh yeah, no, I like it. I think we hit the same note.
It
on
looks
that
like a
one.
big
Yeah.
old hot dog just is in the middle of my screen now of us just doing that. Well, and I'll drown it out with the little wah, wah, wah. So anyway, guys, our Handheld Holla is similar to our book club, except we just kind of shout out some handheld games that we really, really like. And since we like to give love to our handheld brethren, what do you got this episode, Adam, for our Handheld Holla? Shouting out a game. It just has to be handheld. You can be Switch all the way down to a Game Boy. Usually these games are really inexpensive. If you're a new collector, collecting handheld games. What do you got, Adam?
All right, I'm going to go with a classic shooter, and it's R-Type DX.
Oh,
for the Game Boy Color.
Color, yes. I haven't played it. I've seen the cart here and there. Tell me a little about it. Yeah.
So it has two R-Type games on it. It's got
Okay.
I think like basically the Game Boy rendition of the R-Type arcade, and then there's like a separate like sequel R-Type. That's
Okay,
on it.
cool.
And then it has two versions of each game, so you can
Oh.
play them in black and white like OG Game Boy.
Cool.
You know the OG Game Boy
Green
versions,
and white, yeah.
or green and white.
Yeah.
I've been playing on a Game Boy SP, so
Oh, cool.
You know it's or an advanced SP, so it's black and white. But yeah, I suppose green and white. Or you play the DX versions, which are like the updated versions with improved graphics, color, you know, better sound, you know, et cetera, et cetera. They're the exact games. They're just reskinned.
Oh, okay.
You know, and
What is
you know, better
sorry,
animations.
DX? Does that like stand for deluxe? Like,
I
what's
guess so.
DX?
I don't know. I mean, because there are several There's like Link's Awakening DX
and Super
there's-
Mario DX.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like that's deluxe, but actually no, there was a Super Mario Deluxe. So what the heck is?
Yeah, I don't
DX?
know. I would assume.
Does your mom still listen?
I don't know, Mom. Look up DX on the Game Boy.
Remember
and tell
that?
us what
Did
it
she
stands
email us or just text you about that?
for. No, she emails.
she-
She'll research it and email it.
about the Shinobi thing.
Yeah. Mom.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like a lifeline. We almost need like this. If we were doing this live and we had like,
No, if this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Yeah.
you'd want her to help
Yeah.
it. Is she good at that kind of stuff, like trivia night stuff?
She's pretty good, yeah, at trivia, but she's better at like even digging up information that you wouldn't want to know. that
Nice.
kind of stuff.
She did, like flipping through the. In my mind, like anytime I think like an old school, like Indiana Jones, like when they're looking at the index cards at the
Oh yeah,
library.
no, she loves index cards. She's a librarian, dude. She lives for that kind
that's
of stuff.
that's why my brain was going there.
Yeah.
I thought I knew that.
No,
but
she's
I love
like
that.
she's like, oh, you want some useless piece of information that's really hard to find? Yeah, I'll do it.
well, that's me,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, that's us. Apple doesn't fall far. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
don't
guess. But no, dude, that's the benefit of having a mom librarian.
Do you remember that trying to find a book was like trying to find coordinates around the dang globe? Like, remember
which book?
you'd have to find the thing and it'd say
Oh, yeah,
P
yeah. The
dot
Dewey
7.
Decimal, yeah.
Right, Dewey Decimal System. I haven't thought about that in 20, 30 years, maybe. Yeah, the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, man.
What's Dewey up to? Hopefully he's
I don't
on a
know.
beach somewhere.
I hope he got rich off of that decimal
I hope
system.
he did.
Yeah, I
Dewey,
don't think he did.
Much love. Two fists on the chest,
Pour one
one
out
pointing up to the stars.
Pour one out for Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey. Boy,
Anyway.
what the heck were we? What
R-Type DX.
segment are we on?
R-Type
Okay,
DX.
yeah, yeah.
It's good though. I've been playing it every night as I go to sleep.
Sweet.
That's been my going to sleep game.
Nice.
Which is not good because R-Type's like stupid hard.
Yeah.
Like it is so hard.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I like that. A Game Boy Color game. We don't get many of those. I need to put that in. So my game for the Handheld Holla is we're doing a lot newer. The often everybody likes this game. It's a wonderful piece of hardware, should I say. The hardware is nice. The PlayStation Vita, Gravity Rush for the PlayStation Vita.
You fall up, you fall down.
You fall left, you fall right, you fall anyway. The gravity rushes you. So this game was re-released on the PS4, and then they made a sequel also on the PS4.
Kind of hard to find the sequel.
Yes, actually, the original.
The original on PS4 is the hard one.
The original is hard to
correct.
find. Sequel, not so much. But they, anyway, the original was on the PS Vita, and it's quite an awesome game. It was
It's a cool
originally
game. Yeah, it's the
kinda-
first game I ever had for the Vita.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Handheld, like, exclusive for like 10 years almost, you know. But really sweet game, really stylistic and that kind of thing. But not too expensive. I think I ended up getting it for cheap. I think I like cheap for it is now is $11, but it goes for 20 pretty easily or more. But Gravity Rush for the PlayStation Vita, I don't know what else to say about it. It's a really fun
Well,
game.
it's a gimmick. It's based on
Yeah.
the gimmick of gravity. So you have a character. It's like an anime style game, and you're a woman character, and you fight and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But the gimmick is you can switch the polarity of gravity, so
Right.
you can make yourself fall toward the ceiling, so to speak.
And it's not like a 2D side. It's like a full 3D game.
Yeah, it's a full 3D game.
Yeah, so like imagine whatever in Under the Sun, like an Uncharted.
Yeah, but it's
or
a cool
something.
game. It's a neat game, and it's a very interesting take on a simple idea. You know,
Right.
They just took that gimmick and really fleshed that into a full blown game. But it's a cool game.
Right, it's almost like a tech demo, but not. That would be selling it short. It's just like a fishing game does fishing. You can't call it just a tech demo because it only fishes. This thing just, it's interesting. If you want a well-rounded Vita collection, you got to get that Gravity Rush as well as the R-Type. You said
Yeah, R-Type DX.
DX for the Game Boy Color are Handheld Holla picks. This episode. Hey, so we usually do this more at the beginning, but let's talk about this. I didn't have a lot. Maybe you had more. What we're playing? What are the dads playing besides these video game book club picks? Let's talk more video games. Adam. What have
I've
you
been playing
last
more
couple
and more
weeks?
Switch as of late.
Okay.
It seems mostly because of my kid.
Yep.
But been playing Diablo 3. I got Diablo 3 on the Switch.
Oh, okay,
the
cool.
Eternal Collection.
Cool.
And I've played Diablo 3 in the past, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a dangerous game to pick up and start playing again.
Addiction.
Addiction for video games. But I had a weekend where I was kind of off of work, and I got like 5 or 6 hours per day to play on it, and I've kind of been playing it a little bit, here and there. But I'm playing as a witch doctor this go around, which is kind of new. And
Witch Doctor.
yeah, seems to go along, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's just a lot of fun, man. It's just as fun as it used to be. Hadn't really changed. But I'm kind of a sucker for repetitive hack and slashy kind of things, which
Yeah.
is exactly what Diablo 3 is.
Yeah, very cool.
So I've been playing that a fair bit. That's that's been the game I've played the most.
Mm-hmm.
But coming in a close second is, and this is rare for me, but it's a digital only game.
Okay.
And that's Skyforce Reloaded.
Oh, cool.
So the Skyforce Anniversary Edition.
Yeah, I wish I got that. I don't have that.
And,
I wish I had that.
which I've played, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
And then this is Reloaded, and basically Skyforce is an RPG shoot 'em up, or or shmup, or shooter, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
But it's made like a modern version of, let's say, like one of the old like 1942 for NES.
Uh-huh.
It's like a World War II-ish style overhead vertical scrolling shooter.
I like
game.
1942 a lot.
Correct. So I did too back in the day. That's like that was one of my jams on the NES. But
Yeah.
but you start out with this really weak, really underpowered plane that's just like a little pachoo, and you basically play through levels, and as you destroy enemies, they drop stars, and stars are currency, basically. So you play and you play and you play and you play the same levels over and over and over and over, like tons and tons of times. And after you beat certain requirements for each level, you can play the next difficulty of that level, and so on and so forth. So it sounds goofy because who wants to play the same? But it's a shooter, so you're supposed to memorize the enemy patterns. You're supposed to get good at it, and so the game trains you to be really good at it, while at the same time you're using your currency to upgrade your aircraft. And I've probably put 20 hours on that game in the last couple of weeks.
Whoa,
And
okay.
so I played it a lot, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And I'm still haven't beat it yet because I keep going back and replaying over the old levels and stuff. And it only takes like 2 minutes, to play a round of it or so. But intermixed throughout the day, I probably played an hour every day.
Cool.
Just 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time.
That's real cool.
So I've been jamming after that one pretty hard, and then. The other game that I've been playing, and I'm actually really happy and have been having a lot of fun with this, because my son, who's 5.5, he's old enough now that he's good enough at games. He still has a little ways to go on platformers, but beat 'em ups, he's all about the beat 'em ups.
Oh, cool.
So we've been playing Turtles in Time.
Oh,
on-
yeah. I thought you were going to say the belt action.
No,
games.
we've been playing that too.
Okay.
So we've been playing the belt action collection for the Switch, which is it's available in North America in the eShop, but if you want the physical version, you have to get it from Asia. But it's a bunch of old Capcom
Beat 'em ups. Yep.
Yeah, beat 'em ups, like arcade beat 'em ups, Knights of the Round, and all that type of thing. So we've been playing that, but mainly Turtles in Time. So
Cool.
we go out, we throw in Turtles in Time, and he just
Nice.
loves it. You know,
It's great.
So we've been playing Turtles in Time just about every night.
And what are you playing it on? Are you playing on the old school or the NT or whatever?
I'm playing it on a Super NT on a 4K television.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I kind of old school it up because I put the scan lines on and make
Nice.
it all blocky looking like I want, like I think it should. I don't smooth it
Yeah.
out and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
it just plays just perfect, on that. And so been having a ton of fun with that. And the cool thing is, like every day we go out and it's an old game and all that kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
he's like, Dad, I love playing Turtles with you.
Aw.
I think he says that every day that we
That's
play it.
awesome.
He's like, Dad, I love playing this game with you. So it's been a lot of fun playing that
Sweet.
game.
Gosh, I'm so jelly. Again, Sebastian just turned 2,
Mm-hmm.
and I like he just got a haircut. So that was the other thing. Like, dude had a mop top,
He got
curly
a
head.
haircut's an understatement.
Yeah. He had quite the head of hair, and it was awesome hair. But it just had to go because like this thing is, like you have to. Anyway, I was saying is gave him this little handheld game that I actually got from John Riggs that I bought from him in Portland in order to you have to zhuzh his hair because otherwise it looks like a big old poof like he came out of the dryer. And the kid's already got a big head courtesy of me. So anyway, got a haircut is where I'm getting at. And the only thing he kind of plays is one of those little cheap handheld Chinese knockoff video games. And he just presses he'll press the reset button. So he's not playing anything yet, but it distracts him enough that he doesn't scream that I'm having to brush his hair in the morning or whatever, which is what I have to do. Put a de-curl cream or whatever the heck else in there. But anyway, anything else you were playing with the kiddo?
No, I think I
Okay.
think that's the main gist of it. Yeah.
So for me, I stopped playing. I there was someone who shouted out that they got that same GameStop deal for that like $150 NBA game for $10,
yeah,
which
yeah, I
I was
saw
pretty
that,
fan
yeah.
of. And I went back and tried to find one. All the Switch ones are sold out, but I got another one just for kicks.
I
anyway,
actually
and
got it
they'll
on
sell
Switch
myself.
for $5.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Awesome. Yeah. It's just it's great. But anyway, I got all the way to the NBA and I was playing the heck out of this game and I finally got up to be a starter. And I kind of fell off it now because I'm thinking like I can't just keep playing this NBA game. But it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I definitely got more than my $10 out of it. I got up to be a starter for the Bulls. Still my first year. I'm not going to make Rookie of the Year though. So I was kind of like, I think I've gotten as far as I could. You kind of grind out those kind of games. So moving on from that. The other thing that I've played, of course, like I still play Rocket League. Love that game. If you haven't heard about it, it's basically car rocket soccer. I'll still pop that in every once in a while. It's great because now that I play it like once every 3 months, I see what changes they've done in the last 3 months and how they've kind of changed. I don't think it's fair. They're one place where you can pay to like get skins and stuff in different cars, but they don't change your experience. You don't have to spend a dime on the game, and they gave it away free, so I'm okay with it. But like, I'll randomly throw $5 to the game here and there because I've gotten a ton of hours out of this game. It's so much fun. Anytime anybody's playing, and if you want to get competitive, you could play. But if you also just like want to shoot the crap and just play against one player, so you guys are just trying to play soccer against one-on-one or doing other power-ups, it's still just such a fun game to pick up and play, and still I'd say a great game for like a video game dad, especially with young kids under 5, where you just like, oh my god, I want to play something super video gamey, and it's tons of fun. Another thing though, I hadn't mentioned this, I almost forgot. So PlayStation 4 has these games called PlayLink games, and I've been playing this with my wife actually.
Really? I've got a couple of these and I have not played them yet.
Yeah,
Which
so-
one are you playing?
PlayLink initially came out with a run of I think 3 to 4 games, and they've recently in the last month kind of silently released another 3 or 4. So PlayLink is basically a game where your controller can be your smartphone, but it interacts with your TV, and it does it over the wireless internet. And it does it pretty smoothly to the point where, like, so the idea of these games are mainly kind of like family fun type games. One of them, a newer one that just recently came out, is called Word Hunters. And my wife loves like the little word games where you find matches or you get a bunch of jumble, you try to make as many words as you can, whatever the random word fun game thing is, on her phone. And this game is kind of looked on the back of the box just kind of like that's all it did, and super cheap. I think they took all their
Yeah,
new
all these
stock.
games are like $10 to $25.
Not 25, just 10, I think.
10,
yeah.
yeah.
So I think they were $14.99 or $19.99.
Yeah, I was going to say,
but they're all
I
marked down
own
to
2 or
10.
3 of these, and I don't think I paid more than like $15.
And a lot of them go on sales for like
Yeah.
$5. So this one, they're all, especially if you buy them used, which are all available used for like $5. And they're pretty simple, like the Word Hunters game. So how you play is like you have to download the app, right, onto your phone to play the game. Like Word Hunters, and then your TV kind of recognizes it pretty instantaneously. You just make sure you're connected to the same internet wirelessly that your game system is, and then all of a sudden you can put your face in and use the camera on your phone, and then it shows up on the screen. And then if you're like going around the world to answer questions, it'll show your screenshot in like a lot of the player bodies or something. So it's really fun. It's like other games kind of do this, but you got trivia. One of them is called like Knowledge is Power, which is a really weird, cool trivia game that actually uses like almost stop motion for their graphics. You can tell that they actually like created like it's kind of like a Wes Anderson film. So I really like that one. We've only played that one and Word Hunters. There's a few others. There's one called Hidden Agenda where it's like a mystery game. And
Yeah, I have that one.
Yeah, we haven't played that one yet. And they have this other one called like That's You, where you're kind of like but that one you need like at least 3 or 4 people because you're on teams, and it's kind of like a categories type thing. And then there is one more that's called like Deal. There's a card game one where you can like play cards against each other, and obviously your cards will be on your screen. But they're a lot of fun. Again, great for like my wife is not a video game person. She appreciates the fact that I like them, so that's good enough for me. But she's not one that like really plays games because she never grew up with them. I think I've already given my story. The only game she grew up with was Wolfenstein randomly. And then when we played it, God love her, she got super motion sick because she would just like run the player against the wall. And like she's not used to like controlling someone in a 3D space. So like it would get me sick too. Like she would just kind of walk against the wall and stuff. It was just, anyway, she couldn't play it. So she's not really a modern game player. I mean, she'll watch stuff. It's just not our thing. We mainly watch movies together, but trivia games we play. So that was kind of fun. We've been playing that. And outside of that, that's all I've really had time for. I hadn't been playing a lot. Like I said, I'm kind of changing jobs, and that's kind of been pretty time consuming, planning the birthday, that kind of thing. And then, of course, everybody's getting over sickness. But anyway, that's what I've been playing. So moving on to our last segment, we talked about this. So, you know, the PS4, even though it seems like the thing just came out, they're talking about another console coming out here soon.
All the rage, all the
2020.
rumors.
And it'll probably, you know, they'll make an announcement. I mean, I think they already did. They announced that they're working on it, right?
Correct,
It's disc-based. Something worth noting, if I didn't say this already, the Xbox One has now officially announced a discless, no disc, Xbox
disc.
One. And they're one. It's funny. It's $199, which is the same price of like when it goes on sale, the Xbox One, because it didn't do well. But you know, their streaming service and their Game Pass. I swear, I tip my hat. Early making this podcast, I'm not the new generation of Xbox fan, but the Xbox One, at least now, is doing things right. And one of those things is the Game Pass.
So it's probably the best deal money wise in modern gaming. Yeah.
A ton of games on there, and again, I said it last week. I love PS4, Switch, whatever. But the Xbox One getting Game Pass for like $70 for a year, and the amount of games you get is just second to none. And what's nice, it's not streaming. Yeah, I think you could stream, but you just download it to your hard drive, play the games, and you've got stuff from 360, old school Xbox, new games. You know, Crackdown was just on there. There's another game that I forget that was like pretty recent that just popped up there, and it's kind of like it's Netflix basically.
Yeah.
Except you can download them to your game, and they have like really good selection. So anyway, that's usually what happens when you're in a console war generation. The ones that's not doing great kind of fire sales stuff and tries to get caught up to a degree. Like Xbox would not have released this premium of a thing if roles were reversed and it was selling like the PlayStation did this generation. But anyway, since another console is on the horizon and we're getting older and we're getting to the point where I think that this might be the last console that would have like physical media.
Very well could be.
I thought we would talk about it just a little bit. What we're hoping for like PlayStation 5 / whatever Switch 2 is going to be, but at least PlayStation 5 is enough on the horizon. We can kind of say what we think it might be. What are your thoughts on this, Adam?
Well, I one of the things that's kind of been rumored and that I hope is really, really true is that it's backwards compatible with all previous PlayStation platforms.
That's right, and that can't be understated. Like what you just said.
If it is that, I will be a day one buyer, bar none. Don't pass go. I will buy it as soon as I can pre-order it.
All right, I wanted to do we really think this is going to happen?
I don't know. If it does, it'll probably be my new favorite.
Number one,
system.
why is it rumored? Because it's a weird rumor.
It is a weird
It
rumor.
feels like a pie in the sky rumor, but there is enough people going with it that I think
Well, it seems like it would be really hard to make PS3 work on it, but
yeah,
or at least natively, like not.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
But yeah, man, if you can bring the entire PlayStation library, PS1 all the way through PS4, along with it, it's almost too good to be true.
If there weren't downloadable updates, that's the thing that gets me is like, the PS3 specifically, it came out now, we're going on 13, 14 years ago new, and some of the updates for the game, like keeping those things up or just making it so, it'll play all those games, but you won't get an update, which will like hinder a lot of that library because a lot of them were.
That's what I'm saying. The task sounds enormous to make that happen, and almost insurmountable. But if it did,
yeah,
you're talking about that is seriously cool stuff.
Yeah. So again, just saying, playing your PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disc base, and it also feels like something with all that work. Let's get away from our minds of crazy collectors, listeners or casual listeners. How many people have discs from previous systems? Even the PS3. Forget PS2, PS1. Like, how many people own discs from those systems?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, not many. A lot of people just got rid of their stuff or whatever. But if you had it, if it played the stuff, on actual hardware, and
yeah,
and you had an eShop that was there and had all, like, say, PS2 games are $5 a pop.
Yeah, the eShop part of it, I'm like, is that what they're doing, or they're playing? Will it play the discs?
Well, I'm hoping for both. I'm hoping that they give you the option of playing the disc, and that they also have the option for people that don't own the disc to be able to build their digital catalog, quote unquote. And I think that it's probably the digital catalog. I think is very likely. I'm not so as sure about the disc thing, but man, if it was both, like I said, it'd be a day one buy for me for sure.
Yeah. I almost, I'm such a big fan of like what they look like. Like going back, the PS2, like go back and try to get your mind back to when you first saw the look of that console.
What, the PS2?
Yeah, the PS2. They showed
I always thought the PS2 was the ugliest console.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I still think it's ugly.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. So showing it vertically, and it would show the little stand, and a lot of people have vertically, which ended up being a lot of the demise of the old PS2s. But
I
anyway,
love the PS2, but I like the Slim. I play a Slim.
No, now. I'm just saying, like, back then, it looked like a future person console. Because what did we have before that? We had a lot of boxes that just sat there. Or we had the PS gray things. But, like, that thing looked like a Japanese tower from Tokyo. Like,
it does. Like I said, I was never a fan of the PS2. You're just talking to the wrong guy. I know I'm the minority.
Yeah.
But
I know you loved your little GameCube.
I did. I like my little lunch pail with the little handle on the back. It was ugly. That entire generation, just to back up for a second, they were all ugly. I
don't think the Dreamcast was.
I don't lump Dreamcast in the same generation, but I think
what generation is that?
It's kind of between. It's its own thing.
Okay, fine. Give it that.
Yeah, it's its own thing. Actually, if you want to put Dreamcast, PS2, Xbox, GameCube all in the same generation, Dreamcast is easily the best looking one, especially the black one.
Yeah, it's just so compact. Yeah. It's hardy. It's chunky. It's kind of like,
it's just like it's a brick.
Yeah. It's like, you kind of want to give it a good smack. I don't know where I'm going with this. What the heck? Jeez. I just meant like it's sturdy. Like you pick that thing up and you feel like there's no wasted space. But guess what? It doesn't overheat like a freaking 360. But we're getting into other things. That's still the one console I never freaking bought because of the craziness of it. Like just we finally admitted they're all like crap and we're gonna have to refund. Although they did the right thing.
They did do the right thing.
They did the right thing. They lost like, I mean, was it in the billions?
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of money.
They lost $1 billion making that right. Yeah. And they could have just said, oh, tough.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Yeah. So, that does count for something. Yeah. We're just talking about the overheating issues with the 360. But
so, backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
Back to PS5.
Yeah, sorry. So,
So backwards compatibility.
Yep.
Of course, it'll have to have Blu-ray, blah blah blah, and ultra 4K.
Well, yeah, it'll have to, but like Ultra 4K, like the disc drive, they didn't do it this time. Why would they do it next time?
Because I don't think that
It's
I
cheaper?
think maybe, but I think if they don't do it, it's just going to be like a huge knock on it if they don't.
Well, it's a nail in the coffin for the. A lot of people aren't buying 4K. I'm a weirdo.
I mean,
buying
Sony makes
4K
money on
discs.
disc sales. They make discs, they publish discs, they make movies. It doesn't make any sense for them not to have 4K.
Yeah, you're right.
HDR, all that kind. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe they won't, but they have financial incentive beyond just the gaming console to do it.
I just
it
wonder
just
why
wouldn't
they-
make any sense for them not to.
I wonder why they didn't though for the Pro, because the Pro was the perfect opportunity.
I
to do
don't
it.
understand it either.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to
it
me
was just
because they
cost?
Well, and it may be, but they they shoved Blu-ray into the PS3, and Blu-ray was like uber expensive when
yeah.
PS3 came out.
Yeah.
So
The other cheapest one would have been like $300 more, and it didn't play games and do all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, and that's
That's why I
we
got
don't-
it.
That's why we don't
Actually,
have HD DVD anymore.
It was
because of
still
the PS3.
2000. It was still 2010, and I remember I got a second PS3, and this is back when someone saw it. It's like, you have two PS3s, and I felt like some big baller or something. But it was just because I wanted a Blu-ray player in the bedroom, and that was the cheapest way to get one.
Yeah, no,
I bought
and it was a
used
good Blu-ray
PS3.
player. Like if you just put a PS3 against a Blu-ray player of the time, it was the best Blu-ray player.
Yeah, because it would self-update. Like,
Yeah, it would update.
Other ones
it would
say
do
they
all
would
the-
update, but
yeah,
it
it would
wouldn't
do
be
all
as
the
easy.
online stuff and everything else. Yeah, and a lot of the Blu-ray players wouldn't do everything.
God, second screen. Do you remember that stuff? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know why they thought. I remember when it came out, it was like, oh, so cool. Like your tablet will link with the movie you're watching and talk to you about trivia about it. Like, who the heck is gonna watch a tablet and like answer questions while you're watching a freaking Sword in the Stone or something?
You've never watched Netflix on a Wii U. It doesn't sound like.
No, I have not. I haven't connected it.
Yeah, Wii TV or whatever it was called on there, Nintendo TV.
Did they like officially like kill
Oh,
that?
it's dead. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
Dang it!
but
I didn't even get
that was a thing though. It was real weird. You could you could program it to like your cable box.
Yep, I
You
remember,
could go
yeah.
through the menus on the tab. It's actually a pretty cool service, but
that's
it's something that nobody ever talked about though.
No. I remember it coming out because people were using it, but it seemed like kind of the Wii U very unnecessary. Very
It was
like
totally
Very like,
unnecessary.
oh man, just a couple years earlier. Oh man, like
Yeah, no, it died. But
yeah,
all right, so it's got to have 4K, ultra 4K, Blu-ray.
yeah. I would want that too.
HDR, all the bells and whistles.
Oh, how about this? We're talking about. I want it to come with 2 controllers.
That would be nice.
Can we bring that crap back?
Honestly, my biggest complaint about PS4 is the terrible controller life, like the battery life.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, so
You turn your light down, the dimmer.
yeah.
You turn the dimmer.
they only last like 6-8 hours.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, well, shoot. I guess the chance of me playing for more than 6 or 8 hours at a time.
Well, I know, but you gotta make sure you get it plugged in. It's plugged in right.
I got you. No, you're right.
And if you don't have a stand, then you're plugging in the little cord. And
So that's right. I have a PS.
They're kind of a pain.
I will say this. I will recommend then for you and whoever else the PSVR stand.
That's what I use now, so it's
Okay.
not an issue anymore, really. But,
Okay.
but it's still kind of a pain.
No, yeah.
Because the thing is, like the Switch Pro controller,
Uh huh.
you charge that dude up, that thing will be good for like months.
Yeah.
And even like a 360 controller running on like a couple of AA batteries,
Yeah.
thing's good for like a long, long time.
Yeah. The Xbox One, I put batteries in. I've yet to.
But
I
last,
haven't.
they
played,
last a
but-
really long time.
Yeah, but you're right. I'm like thinking I probably already got 12.
I bet it's
15
20 hours.
Yeah.
That those batteries last. But I just want better battery life. I mean,
Okay,
I'm fine
fair
with
enough.
I'm fine with the glowy thing on that. I'm fine with the touchpad.
Yeah.
Even if they don't even change the controller, even if it's the same controller that they have
They'll
on
have
PS4.
to change it a little bit.
A little. I mean,
I wonder if they're finally going to make the DualShock look less DualShocky. I do think the PS4 controller. I actually like the PS3 because I was so used to it. But then going to the PS4, it's hard to go back to the PS3 sometimes.
I kind of feel the same way.
It's still nice. I do like how light the PS3 is sometimes. The funny thing is, I still think the perfect controller is not quite. It would be a hybrid of the Switch, the 360, and the PS4 because there's little things I like about all. I love the feel of the PS4, but the Xbox One feels even better. But what I don't like is the dang clickiness of when you're moving the stick, you go. And the Switch Pro controller is even worse
Yeah,
than
see,
that.
that drives you crazy. I don't even notice it.
Oh, it's just It just feels a little too harsh. It feels like I'm driving, a Geo Metro or something. And I just can't steer.
For PS5, like really if I could, just dream big, pie in the sky, head in the clouds.
Sure. Throw it out there.
So wireless VR.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. It's a good.
A VR helmet that streams like the Wii U did to the tablet.
Yeah.
You don't have to be connected to a cord. There's no extra box.
Talk about battery life.
Yeah, I know. Most of the helmet's the battery.
Yeah, no kidding. Then there goes the weight.
Yeah, and it weighs 15 pounds.
Yeah, I would almost thinking about this, not being a scientist, engineer, it would almost have to have one cord going to some sort of battery.
A battery pack on your side
or something. Just
even if it had like a little box that you had to like a control box that you had to put on your arm like a workout.
It's turning into laser tag what you're
then but still it'd be nice not to be attached to the television. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or attached to the console.
I hear you. I
don't think that's going to happen. But it would be cool if it did.
Do you have revision 1 or 2? You have 2, right?
I have 1.
Oh, okay.
I have the OG.
So I did get the revision 2, and I will say, boy, it's an upgrade. And I wish it wasn't.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't. It looks better. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting.
It's an upgrade when you go to a Pro, and then it's an upgrade when you go to the second.
Yeah. So I have a Pro and a second. When I was rocking the old one, I was fine. Now I'm like, oh, and the cord is lighter and smaller, and there's a lot of good stuff to it. But I do. I will agree with you because there's so many times where I want to play Tetris Effect, or I want to keep going with Astrobot Rescue, which is an amazing game.
That game is so cool.
And I think about it, and then I'm like, I'll turn on Rocket League because it's just that much easier. And even though you're talking another minute total, not even like 5 minutes, one more minute to prep for that thing.
Yeah, my problem is, with kids and everything else. Like, there's just not a whole lot of time where you're just like, I'm going to another place.
I hear you.
Put it on.
How about this for a request? Since we're going to PSVR request, I wish then you can do a Vive thing where if you hit a button on your controller, you can instantly see.
Oh yeah.
Because if you have a camera on the outside,
like a camera on the outside of the controller headpiece,
outside of the controller headpiece, so then instantly you could kind of see. And see where you're at, or have some transparency. Or let's say you're one of those people who get motion sick. You can have a transparency button that makes it so you're seeing enough of both worlds that it doesn't make you sick. That would be great because I really want to play that Ace Combat game, but I'm like, that's gonna make me
there's no way I'll survive that.
Yeah,
one.
no way. I wish I had an iron stomach.
And there are some games that I can play that I really enjoy in VR, but I can only play them like 30 minutes at a time. And I don't even feel like I'm that squeamish, but like wipe out the Omega Collection.
Yeah,
it is so good in VR.
So good,
but I can only play it about 30 minutes at a time.
And did I tell you? Did you turn up all the effects?
I don't know what you mean by that. I've done where you set in the cab so you still have a frame of reference, and that helps.
There's 3 different things where you can kind of change the comfort settings, like either making it so when you rotate this controller rotates, it doesn't rotate the screen, and then also making it so you have more of a cockpit. Those kind of quality of life things I found does help. Mm-hmm. But once you get queasy, it's over. It's over. It's over. You can't take 5 minutes. You got to. And I was so many times where I take it off and just like, I'm gonna eat some crackers. So anyway, but so PS5, I agree with all those things. It'd be, I want some more colors. I know they made some colors in this, but not so much. But it'd be cool for them to go like crazy with the colors.
I mean, even if they just offered like a sleek white, like a shiny white, like a Wii colored white version.
Yeah.
That would be really nice.
Yeah.
Along with the standard PlayStation black.
Yeah.
Maybe even a red one or a solid blue one would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just funny thinking like, how much better are these things going to look? So the download times are obviously way better now than they were, but I would really love for even more streaming efficiency of the whole problem of when you put the disc in, you're waiting a long time to play the game.
Oh, yes.
And I felt like earlier in the generation, and I know this because
it's gotten worse as the generation's gone on.
I had my PlayStation, and it's not like your computer where your computer runs slower the more you have it. When I got my PlayStation 4, I got it at launch, and that thing, the servers were so lightning quick. I had Google Fiber at the time, so that's part of it. But like they have definitely bottlenecked it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
And it's just it makes sense. How many millions? Is it 60 million? I forget how many. We could look it up later. But I feel like there's 60, 70 million of these things out there.
And they did buy more servers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, something. But it's, I don't know. That kind of bites. And then, something like a Switch is a lot better at that, I will admit, for sure. But anyway, yeah, I've only gotten one friend request on my Xbox. Come on, fans. It makes me think like our listeners, no one plays the Xbox One anyway. But come on, my screen name, Jurassic Tasty. I need to make it so stupid. It wasn't taken, so I didn't put Roman numerals around the end of it. But anyway, Jurassic Tasty, send me a friend request on Xbox. I want to have like 10 friends by the end of the month. Let's make that work.
I guess I can throw my handle out there, my PSN handle.
Oh, PSN. Okay, that was my Xbox. My PSN is Swissmister, SWISSMR.
Yeah,
What's
and
yours?
I'm Lurker Zombie.
Oh, that's right.
LURKER Zombie.
Yeah.
All one word.
Yeah.
And it's a Walking Dead reference from the comics or
We
whatever.
had someone email us that, and we never, I don't know why, early on we were like, oh, we don't want to give our, like, who cares? We're not going to be.
Yeah, I know.
Adam Du Bois, all these other, like, famous people put their things out and accept, because now your friend request is capped at 1,000.
Yeah, send me a friend request if you want to play online or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not honestly don't play that online that much, but if you want to play Broforce or something, I'll be down.
When we get closer to that streaming, that'd be fun too.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
it'd totally be cool to play with. And I've done streaming before when I was doing it back at the old house where I had listeners get on and chat with me.
Yeah.
On the computer while I was streaming, and that's kind of cool. Where
Yeah.
they're like, hey, show me that move again, because I was like playing Street Fighter or whatever.
That was on the PS4, I imagine.
or
right?
that actually was on the Saturn.
Oh.
But they'd say, hey, can we see a certain game or whatever? And so I'd pop it in, and we'd play it in
Cool.
real time. So that it's kind of cool just to hang out and play a game for people while they're watching. When they want to see a certain game or see how it plays or hear about it or whatever.
Yeah, very cool. All right. So, what do you think? That's an episode?
I think that's a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Remember, you can email us, videogamedads@yahoo.com. Check us out on Facebook. So far this year, we might have something to announce, but so far we're just doing the Missouri Game Con here in August. So if you'd like to see us live, you can see us there. But otherwise, send us an email. Do whatever. Send us a review. Whatever on iTunes. 5 stars is appreciated. But other than that, thanks so much, guys, for taking time out of your day to listen to us. We really appreciate it. As always, play the video games. Love your family. Family comes first. Episode 41.
It's in the books.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.